It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. And man, oh man, oh man, it's Friday. The weather's beautiful here in the Chi. If you're not in the Chi, you should be. It's going to be about another, 70 degrees today? What kind of nonsense is that? 70 degrees, 72 degrees, and November 6th. Come on, man. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hey, guys, listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, I guess you found us on YouTube. And if you're not, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called SportsZone Chicago. If you're watching this on our app, then I guess you found us on the app. And if you're not, make sure you download the app. It's wherever you get your apps from. Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, wherever you get. Okay. Now, listen. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings. At SM_mornings. Or you can tweet us at SportsZone Chi. That's CHI at SportsZone Chi. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, I don't know what I did. Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapball. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram, could you do it just for the gram? Just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Guys, we have a great show, but we need you to get interactive with us today. So listen, wherever you're watching us from, whether it's Facebook, whether it's on our app, whether it's on our YouTube channel, just leave a question or comment right there on the page that you're watching. And you know, our guy Ivan will put your question or comment up on the screen, and we'll have you interact. We'll have you get interactive with us, because that's what we want. We want some interaction with you guys. We want you to be part of the show. So make sure you do that, as long as it's not dumb. Don't put up no dumb questions and think I was going to put it up. They'll be acting crazy. Anyway, well, let me bring him out real quick. I know he's got some stuff he's got to finish, but I'd be remiss if I didn't bring him out, man. He is the whiz. He is our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, the man behind the curtain, the man who makes it all run, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa?
Good morning. Damn, the background again. I keep forgetting that damn background to set it up. My bad. But I'm good. I'm good, Shawn. How are you?
Good. Little tired, but I'll make it.
A little tired. You sound a little tired. I'm a little tired, too. I didn't watch that debacle last night.
Oh, man.
That was Green Bay and San Francisco. That was terrible.
You're
good.
I didn't think
you didn't miss a thing.
I saw it. I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There was nothing before going into the game. I'm like, there's no way on God's green earth San Fran even has a chance. None. None. I'm like, there's no way. Your quarterback's out. Your running back's out. Tight end's out. Defensive lineman's out. I'm like, man, dude, who do you got playing for you? So
Yeah, I saw. Like you're absolutely right. My boy Luke saw it as a blowout last night when we were covering the game, and then I saw. I was like, I tried to give him some type of, just give him some type of love, and I was like, well, if they could control the clock, they could have had a chance. But there was no chance. Like as soon as they went up 21, you had to abandon the run game because you had to, now you're down 14, and it was just after that it was just a blowout. It was a mess. There was no need to keep tuning in. I mean, I did, but it was still a mess. But the Packers are suspect of that run game, and I hope the Bears find a way to start stabilizing their ground game, because that could be a huge factor. Come 2-3 weeks from Sunday, 2-3 weeks from Sunday against Green Bay in Lambeau.
I don't know if we're going to even be able to play. I mean,
yeah,
we got some COVID stuff going on here at Hallis Hall. So, wow, I don't even know how that's going to work out for our Bears. So we just got to take it one day at a time. Literally one day at a time. Unbelievable. We can't look forward to it. Although the NFL has played every game to this point, but some games had to get moved around, and the further along you go in the season, if you have to postpone games, there's not enough leeway, enough flexibility to see if everyone can has the same bye week, and to make those games up. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to see. Oh man, we got people on the text line already. Kenyon Perry, peace and blessings, everyone. Peace, Papa, peace. And will the Bears finally fire Ted Phillips? Kenyon, you must be smoking that icky-ish. There's no way they're firing Ted Phillips. He's like he's like a brother, a son to Virginia. There's no way. He's done when he decides to resign or retire. That's when he's done with the Bears. So, but anyway, we had a great show for you. Man, we had a show, and one of the guests had a last minute cancellation, and I was a little disappointed about it. But that's all right. We got our guy at 11 o'clock, the draft doctor himself, Phil Atoshin, coming on. I am fired up. We're going to preview the Bears Titans game this week. We're going to talk to Phil. See, Phil and I vibe. We're both former Division I football players. We're both former high school coaches. And we get it. We connect on a couple of different levels. And the way he breaks down tape is awesome. It's awesome. And with no preconceived notion, no agendas, no mission to try and make someone look good or bad. You just go off what the tape says. And if you look good or bad because of the tape, and it's because of your performance, not because of what we say or what it's all there. And that's why he calls his network the Tape Never Lies Network, because that's so true. We got another one. Jamar says, how can the Bears fix their offensive problems? Cancel the season and start.
Well, you need to go back in time and start drafting offensive linemen, you know what I mean, at a high rate. Forget Kevin White, just draft the best offensive lineman available. Remember draft the best player available. That was a big thing. Remember about drafting the best player available? I forgot about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think offensive line would be a great place to start. But also you have to, I think, holding people accountable. I think another running back would be great, but I also think that holding people accountable is what's necessary. And this organization, this coaching staff doesn't do that. And that is a shame. Well, listen, we got to get into it, guys. So you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning Tea, and these are the hot topics of the night before, just some sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. The Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader, and with that, we want to bring in our guy, their guy. He is a sports director over there. He is a man, 50 grand, and he's a good friend of the program. You can find him on Twitter at ACA Joe. Let's bring him in. Joe Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Papa? God bless. Good morning to everyone.
How you doing?
Oh man, feeling great. It's Friday. Hey man, let's have a ball.
Let's do it. Kasim says, if Matt Nagy gets fired, what coach would you hire? Well, first of all, I don't think Matt Nagy's getting fired. I don't think he's getting fired. And secondly, I couldn't tell you who to hire because we don't know who would be available. See, so there's a couple of things. One, he's not getting fired. But two, if for some reason that did happen, we'd have to see what candidates are available.
Can I throw one out there? Can I throw my pick out there real quick? Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich, what he's done with that offense, and what he's, getting Tom Brady, what he did with Jameis, even though Jameis is Mr. 30 for 30, but what he's done with the offense, I could trust a Byron Leftwich to run my offense.
Yeah, Jameis Winston had, if I'm not mistaken, he had 5,000 yards last year.
Yes, he did.
And that's in that. I mean, he also had 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. But if you can get
scheme work, it's scheme work. But the player made the mistakes. The scheme work.
But if you can get someone to get you 5,000 yards, that's saying something. And don't get me wrong, he had two All-Pro or two Pro Bowl wide receivers. He had a decent tight end and O.J. Howard before he got hurt. But yeah, if you can do that with Jameis Winston, I can see that, Ivan. I could definitely see that. That's a good possibility. But here's the thing, though. You want him as a head coach / play caller? Because that's what we got now. Give me a head coach. See, here's the problem. There aren't a lot of guys who move side to side. Okay, lateral movements. Like go from the offensive coordinator of this team to the offensive coordinator of another team. If it's they're going to want to move up, they're going to want to be a head coach, which I get. But that's a lot of, especially with young guys like that. Are they ready for all that's entailed in being a head coach? Not a lot of people are ready for that. Not a lot of people understand that pressure of how you're now in charge of offense, defense, special team, clock management, timeouts, all these things, reviews, challenges, all these things. That's a lot for a first-time head coach.
Yeah, that's true. And I know this ship has sailed for the Bears, but one thing we can do if we really want to patch things up, reach out to some of the former 85 Bears. I know that's kind of like a PR move, but just to bring this team back to glory. I know that there's a lot of 85 Bears that are still out there that may be looking for coaching opportunities. From an offensive perspective and a defensive perspective, I don't know who that person might be. I know Ron Rivera, he's currently coaching. Mike Singletary, he's still out there, but I know that he's a hard-nosed guy, and a lot of young guys maybe won't deal with him. But you got a lot of guys who schematically that are still out there that know this defense, that they have offensive minds that you may sit down with from that era, just to try to bring us back to that same glory. But we never reached out to them. I don't know what the situation was with that. So that's something that may be an option that we can revisit, at a later date.
That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, Joe. Not a bad idea at all.
Jim Mack, crazy. I know he's crazy. What I'm saying is that we need to get some 85 Bears on this personnel. Some guys that know the nature of the Chicago. And I know you're saying no. You're doing this, Shannon.
No.
But at the end of the day, I know you don't want them touching your project, but they can't do any worse than what's going on right now. You see what I mean? Like, at least we'll have some type of pride or toughness from a defensive perspective. I'll at least bring back Mike Singletary, and bring them in some role with the team. These guys are the last guys who won for it. It's just a crime to see this happening. It's the same thing with the Bulls. How you have 6 world championships and then you got Tony Kukoc as the ambassador? I mean, what's going on? Like, I mean, nobody in this organization that knows anything about winning. That's a problem. That's all I'm saying. We need to bring these guys back. That would be my safe choice.
But they also had Scottie Pippen for a long time. He was an ambassador, and he was with all 6 championships. So, I do think they need to bring back. I do think they need to bring guys back. But there's a lot of guys who are
already there
doing their own thing. They're doing their own thing. I mean, Steve Kerr, he's coaching that team in California somewhere. I forgot what team it is. Okay. So he's a little busy, John Paxson. All right. He was already with the organization for a long time. What about Randy Brown was with the team for a long time. So they kept people around. Okay. It's just that the big names is the ones that they didn't keep, which no Michael, it took them a while to bring Scotty back.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not bringing Rodman back.
But they used them as like they were like mascots almost. Like what I'm saying is that Scotty stopped doing his position. You see, he took another job with NBA. What's the name of the show that comes on?
The Jump.
NBA Jump. Because the job only required him to make special appearances. First of all, Scotty deserved better than being offered an ambassador job with the team. That's a mascot job, and that is. He needs to be in management somewhere, telling guys what to do because he's a winner, okay? Now, I know people be like, well, Scotty's not articulate enough, and he may not be able to handle that. Most guys, they get those jobs. You see what I mean? Like, you can at least give him a chance. You see what I mean?
First of all, we're talking about the Chicago Bears. We're not talking about the Chicago Bulls. I get your analogy, but like with Pippen, and I get what you're saying with the mascots and everything, and I understand that there's nobody in the front office of the Bears that understands how to win. I mean, yeah, they got there, but they can't. They haven't won since '85. My thing is that they've been putting out these guys left and right. I don't want to see another '85 Bear being marched out there for we got to get them. These guys can motivate themselves. They don't need an older guy out there. I mean, in certain situations, maybe if it was like coming down to a big playoff game or you're about to go into the NFC Championship game or something, maybe you bring somebody in for some motivation. But as far as this goes well beyond just bringing in a old player to rally the troops. This is a problem from top to bottom. When it comes to when we're talking about Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, this has nothing to do with lack of guys trying to get motivated to play on Sunday. I just think it has to do with scheme. It has to do with the coaches not having their players ready to go, and not having their players in proper position, not scheming for their players, and the front office not getting the proper players to put out on the football field for the coach and his scheme.
And that's what I meant by that, meaning that you have to start somewhere, because right now where you started is a disaster right now. The Bears are tweeners right now. They're not good enough to win the championship, and they're not bad enough to get the number 1 pick. You do not want to be stuck in mediocrity. That's the worst place to be. You're stuck in the middle. And the Bears are right where we thought they were going to be, which was in the middle. And you don't want that. It's just like who's that? The Bulls are the same. Well, the Bulls are slowly coming out of that. Reason why I'm using these two as comparison contrasting, because they have the similar type of stubborn type of management where you're going to constantly keep going with things that just don't work until it works. And that can be 30, 40 years of us waiting as fans. You know what? aren't y'all tired of that? Like, I'm tired of it. You know, I want to see change. You see what I mean? Like, even if it had to happen from the top, just like you said, Shawn, you said Ted Phillips will never be fired. Okay. What does that mean for the Bears? That means that they're going to continue to make bad decisions. They're going to continue to outsource their decisions to people who can make better decisions for them. And sometimes that may not work. You see what I mean? So I'm saying all of this is because Chicago is stuck in mediocrity right now with our football team and our basketball team. And it's kind of frustrating to watch. And yes, we can blame the players all we want to, but you have to blame the guys that's responsible for bringing in these players. And the guys that's responsible for putting us in these positions in the first place. And that's guys like what's the general manager for the Bears name?
Ryan Pace.
Ryan Pace. Then after Pace hired Matt Nagy, they're doing the same thing. It's the same stuff all over again. What I'm saying is that how do we stop this cycle? Let's do something new. Let's break it up. Let's blow it up. And I wouldn't mind bringing in an 85 Bear. I'm just saying that's an option. Now, you may got Brian Leftwich. That's fine. Hey, I hope he does well. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's synonymous with winning when it comes to Bears football is anybody from the 85 Bears team. And I wouldn't mind at least giving them a chance, like bringing them on the staff somewhere, somehow to just at least pump some life back into the team. Because right now it's just frustrating to watch them play, period.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. I don't know how I agree with you. I don't know how the younger guys will take it because remember they played a different style of football back then. It was a different style. The game was different. All right, you could hit people. You can hit them hard. You can hit them really, really hard. Now, you hit them too hard as defenseless receiver, unnecessary roughness, all kinds of craziness penalties that they can call. So, I do think the sight of a champion would be good, but I think that I don't think Ryan Pace is the guy. But no. I know Ryan Pace is not the guy. Okay, and that's the issue. Okay, Ryan Pace is not the guy. He's got to go. There needs to be a new general manager in there. He needs to bring in a head coach that is a lot more detailed, a lot more attention to detail. It holds people accountable, and that's the thing that the players said in their exit meeting last year is that they wanted to be held accountable. And when they tell you, "I want to be held accountable," that's telling you you're not holding us accountable.
Right.
And if you're a football, I've never played for a football coach. Ever in my life that didn't hold us accountable.
Right.
I'm talking from grammar school.
Even on a losing team. Even a losing coach holds you accountable.
Yeah, I've only played on 3 losing teams in my whole life. So
I'm just speaking. No, I'm just speaking from my perspective. What I'm saying is that I've been on teams where we didn't have resources, and our coach still held us accountable. You see what I mean? So what's the excuse there? No excuse.
Let's hope they don't sign Bill Cartwright, though. I'm just saying.
You said what? What you said?
Let's hope they don't go sign Bill Cartwright or something like that. Who'd be the Bill Cartwright? Who'd be the Bill Cartwright signing for the Bears?
Bill Cartwright signing?
Yeah, who would be their Bill Cartwright signing?
Probably like an Otis Wilson or somebody like that. Somebody.
Mama's boy Otis.
Old Otis. We bring old Otis back up.
Old Otis.
Well, Otis at least. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that he would take the job because Otis is a cool dude. He real
cool.
Yeah, he real cool guy, and he's helping a lot in the high school ranks too. So there's those relationships there. He may not want to deal with the day-to-day operations, but just to have him as a presence, on the sideline will be a blessing, to a lot of these young guys. Because what I'm seeing from the Bears now, they just don't have a direction. They don't have any direction. They don't have an identity. We don't know where we're going. I mean, it's just frustrating. I don't even know how we won 5 games. I don't even know. It's crazy.
I do. I do. They mucked it up. They made it. They played an ugly style of football. Teams, because of the lack of preseason games, they were able to fall right into that type of style of play. And most teams are not equipped or don't practice that type of play. And the Bears are good at it, and that's how they're able to win that many games. Now, when you get teams who can rise above that, you get teams who can rise above it, then that's when you're going to see the Bears left in the dust. So, well,
exactly what's happening.
The next top of the morning topic: White Sox earn some hardware. Eloy Jimenez, Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, they win Silver Sluggers awards.
Wow.
Third for Jose Abreu, first for Eloy and Tim Anderson.
Wow.
Are you excited about this?
Man, first of all, congratulations to you guys. Bringing home more hardware to add to your trophy cases. And I know Eloy, this is a big accomplishment for him because he felt that the Cubs gave up on him. And eventually he's going to start winning accolades because he was projected to be that type of player in spite of his mistakes. In addition to Eloy, Tim Anderson, A1 from day one. You know, he's you guys' leader. And, I mean, he not only led by example, you know, but he just has that ability to just impact guys up and down in that lineup. And then last but not least, Jose Abreu, what more can you say? No comment. I mean, like this guy, there he is. He just exploded throughout the season. That 6 home run weekend, you know, like I said, you could have just gave it to him then, you know, like that was enough. You know, I've never seen a power display like that, not since the steroid era, over a 3-day period. So shout out to all 3 of those guys. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that my buddy's on steroids. I'm just saying that that's just a credit to his power to hit 6 home runs in three days over a 3-day weekend.
You're on mute, Sean.
So it was 2-3-1, if I'm not mistaken, or 3-2-1. How he did that was just insane. That was just unbelievable. And you know, the awards for the MVP, I think they should come out Monday or Tuesday. And you know, you look at what Jose Abreu brings. You know, the one stat that I just am in awe of. He's had 1 RBI a game. He had 60 RBIs in 60 games. That's unheard of.
Wow.
That's unheard of. Okay, that is so that lets you know that you will not get held. You will not be shut out because this guy is going to bring in and driving a run at all. You know what I mean. That's how crazy it is. And then 11 of his 19 home runs came with the White Sox down a run.
Wow.
So you talk about clutch. Like, see, and this is what these are the things that the numbers don't tell you. Okay, and this is why if people say that, you know, Jose doesn't lead in home runs. I think he's second. I don't know if DJ LeMahieu had 20 home runs or whatnot, or Martinez had 20 home runs. I'm not sure. But when 11 of your 19 home runs came when you were down 1, come on, man. You talk about clutch. Yeah. Like that's MVP. That's MVP material.
That's very clutch, and I hope he wins the MVP award. That'll be another huge accomplishment for you guys, and that can carry on into next season. You know, because that's, like I said, that's another credential or skill set added to your resume that put fear in the opposing pitcher's heart. So you come in next year, you got to pitch to this lineup. You're gonna be like, hey, Eloy, Silver Slugger Award winner. Tim Anderson, Silver Slugger Award winner. Jose Abreu, Silver Slugger Award winner. Who can I pitch around? I can't pitch to anybody in this lineup. So that's a potent lineup from top to bottom. And don't forget Luis Robert, you know, and his recent accolades. So
Gold Glove in center field.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Yoel Moncada was a Gold Glove finalist.
Right.
Danny Mendick was a Gold Glove finalist. He was a top 3 finalist as well. Yasmani Grandal and James McCamber were Gold Glove finalists for the catcher position.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this team
was there an All-Star game this year?
Mm.
No. So just imagine that's another thing that you guys didn't get really recognized for because they didn't have it this year. But if I know next year, you know, when the season starts, most of those guys would have made the All-Star team. I promise you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that would have been another accolade to add to your resume. So that's pretty huge.
Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. In college football tomorrow, Illinois is looking for its first win of the season against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Both teams are 0-2 to start the season. The Illini are looking to get the offense going, which has averaged just 15 points per game through 2 games this year. Northwestern is at home against Nebraska. The Wildcats are 2-0 to start the year. Nebraska's 0-1. The Cornhuskers had last week's game canceled against Wisconsin after dropping the season opener against Ohio State. It's a top 5 showdown at Notre Dame Stadium. 4th-ranked Notre Dame will play host to number 1 Clemson tomorrow night. Clemson is 7-0. Notre Dame off to a 6-0 start. The Tigers are without starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Boomer Naturals delivers breathable, protective face masks for kids and adults. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. I'm John Thayer on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. Man, I'm fired up, baby. It's the weekend. It's gonna be 70s. Tell you what, great stuff. Well, the next top of the morning topic. Are you bothered? Is it a big deal that Tony La Russa has not reached out to his players, the leaders of the team, the Tim Andersons, the Jose Abreu? Is that a cause for concern?
Yeah, that should have been the first thing he did. And as I said on the last show, the first thing you don't want is division in the locker room. And right now, you know, you're sending a message that, hey, you need to pick up the phone and call me versus picking up the phone and calling you. It's almost like a family situation where you're holding grudges against your family member and you got too much pride in you to apologize for what you did wrong. Mentality-wise, if you're new to this job, you should be giving everyone a call, okay? Tim Anderson should have been the first one getting a call from Tony La Russa. It's like, hey, man, let's go in here. Let's win it all away. Not, hey, I'm the boss of this team. It's going to be an authoritarian type of atmosphere. I'm going to micromanage everything. You show up when I tell you to show up. And that's the message that you're sending to the White Sox players, which will eventually lead them back into believing that, hey, we're not going to be able to talk to La Russa like that. We're going to have to actually go to Rick Hahn for most of our concerns.
This is according to Scott Merkin. Scott Merkin tweeted out yesterday. He said Anderson has not talked to Tony La Russa, and he said, "quote I'm still waiting on him to reach out to me." I don't think it's a big deal. I think he should have reached out already. But listen, there's nothing that's going to be done now that's going to make that big of a difference. Okay. Don't wait too long. I'd say definitely reach out by the end of the month and just say, hey, listen, I'm looking forward to getting together with you guys, blah, 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 blah. You know, we're going to have fun, or this, and this, and this, all that stuff. But I don't think it's that dire. Okay. First of all, you have to give him credit, have to give him some leeway. He's a Hall of Fame manager with 3 World Series titles in his back pocket. What do the White Sox have? What do these players have? Nothing. Okay. So if he doesn't call him right away, okay, fine. But I think it would go a long way for him to call him and say, hey, listen, if you make yourself, I don't want to say subservient, but if you make yourself available to the players, if you make yourself, you put yourself at their service, or I think they're going to play for you even harder. I don't think it's a huge thing right now. It could be if it continues to go into next year, January or February, or not even till spring training. If it goes not till spring training, then yeah, that's going to be a big issue.
Who leaked that information?
It was a tweet by Scott Merkin. So apparently I don't know if he asked Tim Anderson himself, or if Tim Anderson was just responding in a press conference. But but that's what he said.
Oh wow!
He said, "I'm still waiting on him to reach out to me." Is what TA7 said.
That's pretty tough words right there. Hopefully they can get that together before spring training. Because like I said, Tony La Russa, when it comes to being a alpha male, he's going to show you in the beginning of the season that it's my way or the highway. Bottom line, So you don't get in line, that's on you. I got the ear of the boss. You don't. That's
I think to an extent. I think you're going to see that when it needs to be there, but you're going to see. I think Tony's going to allow these players to be themselves. I don't think there should be no change with the personality of this team. I think like you said, Shawn, with TA7 saying I'm waiting for him to hit me up. First of all, he shouldn't change. He's the last person on this team that should change because he's the heart of the team. I think that there will be times where the ball club is struggling, where Tony needs to step up and put, boots to butts. Hey, pick it up. Hold guys accountable. But as far as throughout the season, as far as maybe locking them down, pretty much suppressing that energy, I don't think he could do that. It's too evident of how it brings this team out, how it lifts this team when they get on a roll, and I don't think you can mess with that. Any manager.
So you don't think Tony La Russa is gonna come in and be like, let's eliminate these egos because y'all haven't won anything yet? So everybody's on square one.
I think he's going to allow guys. I think he's going to allow guys to play, but he's going to hold guys accountable when he needs to. I don't think it's going to be like this totalitarian. This is how we're going to do it. You haven't won. I'm going to come in here like a general, like a drill sergeant, and start changing things. No, I don't think that you can't because that'll completely deflate this team, and this team will be nothing if that's the case. If he doesn't adjust, this team will be nothing.
Well, I'm okay with him saying, listen, you haven't won anything. I'm more than okay with saying, hey, listen, you guys still aren't spit. You have a lot of great individual seasons. Mm-hmm. Okay. But is that what you want? Individual accolades? Or do you want a World Series trophies? What you decide what it is that you want. Because if you want individual accolades and you want to show me how many Silver Slugger awards you've won, how many Gold Gloves you've won, how many All-Star appearances you've had, then you continue to do what you've been doing. Okay, so I think that I'm more than okay with him and bringing him down and say, hey, listen, you guys haven't done anything.
Mm.
You haven't done anything. And as talented as this team is, the potential is through the roof, but you haven't done anything. Let's keep it 100. They haven't done anything. You bounced in the first round of the play. No, you beat Oakland. It was who did they beat in the?
No, they got bounced in the
No,
first
they bounced
round.
in the first round. Yeah. So you got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. So what have you done? What you know what I mean? Like you're just you can't walk around like a Derek Jeter. Okay,
Right.
Who's got five World Series rings in his back pocket. Okay, you have to continue to grind. You have to continue to fight every time. And just because you get one, now you got to work harder. Because it's hard enough to climb to the mountaintop. It's harder to stay at the top. And that's the thing that I'm concerned about this team is that they I don't know, and it's not the Jose Abreu's that I'm worried about. It's the Lewis Roberts, because he can get into a little funk when things aren't going, when he's not doing well at the plate. The Eloy Jimenez, the Yoel Moncavas.
Think about it.
Those young guys who are those are the ones I'm concerned with. And this is they have to continue. They have to have this mentality. And I know Jose Abreu has it, because Jose Abreu looks like he's fighting for his job every single freaking at bat. Every single at bat, it looks like he's fighting for his job. And that's what you want, to approach every at bat as if you don't, if you're not successful, you're benched. Okay.
Well, you're going to see a more complete White Sox team this season. You know what I mean? You're going to get guys back. You're going to bring guys up. You're more than likely going to go ahead and sign some guys, because you can't give Tony nothing to work with. You know, we talked about. I think it was you and Kenneth where they were saying, "Hey, does this mean that Tony or that Jerry's going to open up the pocketbooks?" And I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen. So you're going to see a more complete team. So it's like, I feel like the White Sox, from where they were 2 years ago to last year, I mean, that was just like this was like their on the scene moment. Yeah, they haven't won anything, but they're also going to be a way better team than they were before. As long as Tony keeps that, like, gets them focused on the prize. The goal is to win the World Series. Like that's why you have these players up. That's why you're bringing them up. That's the job Rick Hahn has been doing these past 2 years, is to try to win the World Series. So I mean, if I think all those guys are hungry. I don't think with the leadership that they have, with the Jose Abreu, with TA7, I think that they are grinding. I think they're hungry. They're thirsty. I think that they're so about this team that it's almost like to me, like they might be like the tightest team in a Major League Baseball, like the closest clubhouse.
And I don't think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, finish. Go ahead, Joseph.
About how they win the World Series, as long as they win it. You see what I mean? He brought Tony in to do a job, and he's going to allow Tony to do what Tony does. Now, he may not be as mean as he used to be with, just with a lot of the micromanaging and stuff, but you will feel his presence in the locker room, and there will probably be some conflict there in the beginning of the season just because of the way things were done. We can't forget how they did Rick Hahn. And I know we may throw that under the table.
Renteria. Oh, Rick Hahn, yeah.
Rick Hahn and Rick Renteria. So what I'm saying, that's matter of fact, thanks for bringing that up, Sean, because there's still some guys that may be loyal to Rick Renteria. Okay? Yeah. Let's not forget that. You see what I'm saying? So you disrespect Rick Renteria, you disrespect Rick Hahn, you're like, man, who this dude Tony think he is? Even though he's won 3 World Series champions, but he ain't my daddy. No, I'm just joking. But at the end of the day, it's White Sox business. I believe y'all gonna handle it well. It's gonna be a little conflict there. What better way to start the season with a little conflict? Because conflict also sometimes it breeds winning. You know, sometimes.
So, that was hilarious.
I'm okay. I'm okay with conflict. I'm okay because the bottom line is you still have to remember you haven't won jack spit. You haven't done anything yet. You haven't. And all the talent in the world, talent is what gets managers fired. Okay? Potential is what gets managers fired. Excuse me. Potential. Okay? You know, when we talk about they lost 8 out of the last 10. Okay? If I see anybody coming in acting like their ish don't stink, I go, wait a minute, where was this in the 8 out of 10 losing streak to close the season out? Where's all this bravado at that particular point back then when all you needed was one game and you would have won the division? You went from second place in the American League to 7th because of your inability to win games when it mattered down the stretch. So don't sit there and tell me how great you are, okay? Because winners make things happen. When you have a good seed, you know, and they're seeded number 2. You're seeded very well, and you go from 2 to 7 because you just can't keep winning. That's not a good team.
And
that's
just another thing the Sox should pray and hope for is a good schedule. You know, like if you guys can get a good month of April, like with some softball teams going out there, and y'all all get off to a good start, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. You see what I mean? Like we wouldn't be having this discussion. But if MLB, I don't know if they came out with the new schedule, but if MLB hook y'all up with one of the toughest schedules in Major League Baseball, then yeah, it's gonna be a lot of conflict. Trust me, it will. Because Tony La Russa doesn't like to lose, especially he's not going to take any talking back from some young whippersnapper who hasn't won anything. So, you know, unfortunately, you know, eventually it's going to happen. You know, someone's going to say the wrong thing and they're going to tick Tony off.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on. The next top of the morning topic, Cody Whitehair from the Bear. He tests positive for the coronavirus and forces a shutdown at Hallis Hall yesterday.
Wow.
You know, this is alarming because now you're going to have to test other people. And obviously you could test it every day, but now you have to be leery. You know, are there going to be more tests, more positive tests today? They are open. They had the ability to open up the facility last night, so they're practicing today. And I haven't seen any reports of them shutting down the facility.
Hello?
Oh. You got me? Can you hear me?
Yes, you're back. Yeah, you're back.
You good,
okay.
John? All right.
So I haven't seen any word on them closing the facilities. So I just don't want. We can't afford to have a couple more COVID tests because if this game gets canceled on Sunday, that's going to suck. I talked about the further you go into the season, the further along you go, the less likelihood there is of getting a week that the game can be made up. The Packers won last night, so the Packers are 6-2 now. Yep. The Bears are 5-3, so it's going to be a tough game to begin with against the Titans. And if it gets canceled, and you have to go back and you have to figure out another time to play this, I don't know. It's going to be tough, and I hope there's no other positive cases come out of Hallis Hall.
Yeah, I'm looking out. Hope that first of all, I hope Cody Whitehair get well soon. Along with Mr. Spriggs, I think he tested positive also. So just the whole offensive line get well soon. Second, wow, this is not a good time for the Bears overall. It just looks like our whole team is just just disappearing right before our eyes. Like our whole offensive line. We're not gonna have anybody in a block for anybody. Unfortunately, with all of these positive COVID tests, these injuries, etc. And then last but not least, hopefully the Bears take proper procedures to keep everybody safe. I know that they closed down Hollis Hall, I think it was yesterday. They shut it down. And,
yesterday, yes.
I guess they doing a proper quarantine and everything.
Disinfecting, sanitizing.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff going on. That's bigger than football. So win or lose on Sunday, hopefully the Bears, take care of that issue.
Yeah, the Bears have been pretty healthy when it's come to COVID. It was Spriggs and Affetti that got the tested positive. Well, Affetti tested positive for contact, so he was around someone who was in contact with. So he should be able to play. I think Spriggs is going to be out. Cody Whitehair is going to be out. This is you can't just put guys together to make an offensive line that's successful. It's going to take more than a week.
Right.
Good offensive lines.
Hey, Shawn, why did the Bears stand pat at the trade deadline? Why did it make any moves? What happened with that? What was the excuse?
If I had the answer to that, man,
I think teams were hoarding, they're reluctant to give up offensive linemen, knowing that they're going to probably run into a situation like the Bears have found themselves in, potentially. But also, I think that they're cheap. I mean, also Jermaine Affetti will be playing on Sunday. He was activated from the COVID-19.
Okay. Yeah, he was just in contact with someone, so he who was in contact with somebody.
I guess that means instead of giving up 4 sacks, we're only going to give up 3 now. So that's good.
And we have Tyler Bray as our backup.
Oh,
because Mitch is in LA getting his shoulder looked at by a orthopedic surgeon, and it just came across the wire a few minutes ago that he will not need surgery. One run, dude. One run, and he hurts his shoulder. I mean, come on, dude.
Hello?
Yeah, there you go. One run, one play. And, I don't, and maybe it's just me with my get off my lawn mentality, but God bless it, man. Finish a run. Get out there, run to the sideline if you have to. Run. They brought you in for a purpose, to run. So run. Don't look for people. Run. Like, you can tell he's never been chased by the cops. Okay? You can tell he's never been chased by the cops. Because those of us who've been chased by the cops, we know how to run. We know how to get that 4th and 1, 4th and 2. I'm telling you, there's so many times people were like, because I played about 220. That was my best playing weight was like 215, 220. And people were like, wow, like, I can't believe how fast you were at 215, 220. I was like, well, first of all, I was an athlete my whole life. I said, secondly, I used to get chased. I used to get chased by kids in the neighborhood who didn't like the shade of my skin.
All right.
I used to get chased by cops for some of the dumb ish that I did. Okay. And when you run fearfully, that's a whole nother speed. that's a whole nother a gear.
When your life is on the line, yeah, you
That's a
know
whole
how to.
nother gear that you reach.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
can jump over fences off vertical. You know, like you ain't even gotta touch the fence. It's almost like the old Superfly movie. I watched him jump over the fence with boots on. I'm like, come on, bro. Let's go.
I was never able to do that, but if the fence was 4 feet, I could do it. Because you put your hands on top of the fence and jump over. But if it was taller, I put 1 foot on the fence and flip over. Man, I had that down pat, boy. I'm telling you.
The one hand on the spikes. Elite. I've been there. I know.
You know, so you can tell when a guy hasn't had to run for fear of his life, getting his ass beat. There's just a lot to it, and it bugs me just how soft this guy is. And that was probably his last. It could have been his last carry for the Bears, and how apropos is that carry? He goes out with a shoulder injury. I don't know. Anyway. Last top of the morning topic. You know what? Let's bring out our guy. He's coming in. He's about to take the baton, so let's bring him up, man. He's from that Davis show. You can find him on Twitter at That's Davis. Guys, let's bring him on. Kenneth Davis. Kenneth, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Hold up, right?
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Especially how the next segment's going to go when I look at who you booked and you have me on for that segment. So you're about to lose some followers with this joint. But I come on here because it's going to get so black. But I come on. I'm like, wait, what was he referring to? Ted King Jr. And you're on here opining for Mitchell Trubisky's shoulder. He's saying it. Look, he's saying it like it's the saddest thing ever. Listen, I don't hate Mitch. I hope he's healthy. I hope he finds a job someplace else. But man, whatever.
No, I wasn't opining. What I'm saying,
you had a script in front of you right there, son. You was selling that bad boy. You was like, and
no, I'm saying that's apropos. That's appropriate for the way his career as a Chicago Bear ends on that BS.
I thought Sweetness retired. I thought Sweetness retired.
No, come on, man.
Oh my goodness! It was like, dude. Oh my God! That's all I had to say. That's how I leave it alone. That's all I had to say. Joseph, don't let him walk with that. Don't let him walk with that.
Hey man, at the end of the day, this is a Bears channel. You know how it is, man. You got a lot of Bears fans ticked off, man. So this ain't, like it's like we can't even. We as Bears fans, man, it's just hard for us to even process this information, man. Like it's really frustrating for everybody.
But all right, on a serious note, this is who he is. The problem with him outside of not being, and you can play some of this on Matt Nagy, but not being able to adjust to the NFL was that he's injury prone. And the crazy part is always those shoulders, right? I know it's the other shoulder this time, but it's always his shoulders. You knew when you have Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky is the quarterback equivalent to Anthony Miller when it comes to his shoulders. When you see him take a hit and go down with his shoulders, and I know that during that game we didn't know Mitch was hurt because he popped back up and he kept going. But still, you know that's the weak spot in his joints, evidently. All right, so this is who you get when you have Mitch Trubisky playing football. This was going to happen at some point during this year because there's something wrong with that cat's shoulder. So am I happy? No, but still, it's just not that. I got bigger birds to fry when it comes to this Bears team than the backup quarterback that was on his way out of town probably anyway. So again, I don't. Wow. It was a bit much for me.
I just thought it was appropriate for this guy.
Can we blame? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I didn't hear you. You say that again, boss. No, we can't.
No, I was saying. Okay, great. I was just saying, can we blame the person for the play that was being called, which was Matt Nagy? First of all, that was a dumb play. Okay, like I know you brought Mr. Trubisky in for one play, but that one play got him hurt, and I just thought it was just weird that he would just do that. And I thought that was Matt Nagy trying to be cute again, and it ended up backfiring. Now Mitch Trubisky is out with an injury. What I'm saying is that
no. Ivan, put that picture up again, please. Put that picture up. Look where stupid Charles Leno is. That's your left tackle. You're running to the left. That's your left tackle.
But you don't have to run a play to the left if your left tackle has been sucking for the past 3 years. Why are you running a play to the left?
Okay, you know what? I would love to know what the RPO was on that play. Because I mean, I have seen that screenshot that Ivan put up there before. I would like to know if that's the only option was Mitch running to the left, or if there was another option and Mitch decided to hold on to the ball, and perhaps that's why Charles Leno is that far ahead of the play right there. And I'm with you, Sean. F Charles Leno for life. All right, like don't get it twisted.
And no, I think the other option was to hand the ball off. I think you.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I wonder.
No, it was a wildcat.
I didn't see, because I'm with you. I didn't see the running back on that screenshot. The running back is on the other. Even it looks like it was he was trying to fake with the handoff, but where the running back was, it doesn't seem like perhaps it was the RPO or not.
Yeah, Charles J. Leno, come on, dude. Like, and then he just like, you know what? Let me just go and look for the safety. Don't worry about the D tackle and the outside linebacker going to destroy the ball carrier. Let me just go. You just go for the guy. Go look for someone at the third level.
But that's still faking it. Hey, that's Leno faking and shaking, man. That just shows you, like, look, I'm not gonna block the guy I'm supposed to block. I'm gonna have to go block the loser down the field.
Right. And the great part about it is if you see it in real time, like, he realizes he done messed up, so he's like, now he's looking for work. He's like, go bump it. Let me go get somebody. Like, no, dude, your work is back there. Your work is back there. That's where your work was.
He's done that shit multiple times, Sean. He's done that shit multiple times.
That's called the dance hands. What they call it, the dance hands, or the Broadway dance hands?
The jazz hands. Yeah, dude. Like, look, you're a tackle. Very, 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 very rarely do you not have a guy over you. Very rarely will you not have a guy over you. Okay, I'd say almost never will you have not a guy. He'll be your outside. He'll be a wide technique. He'll be head up. Most of the time, he'll be your outside.
Unless it's five technique.
Right,
but he's still gonna be covering part of your body.
Right, he's still to your right. You know what I mean? To your outside. Yeah. So that's your guy.
The defense.
That's your guy.
The defense knew what was coming. They
know it was coming. They know it's coming. He just let them go. And they had two guys. We got a free run at the ball carrier. Let's go get him and destroy him.
Right.
And this is why when people get grades and then they say, well, he's one of the best offensive linemen for that game. I'm like, please don't say that, because it shows the lack of football IQ that people have. And you can sit there and grade, like, I can't. You're in the NFL. You've known from Pop Warner that if there's a guy over you, okay, especially on a run play, you need to take him. Okay, especially if you're a tackle. Okay, unless you're going down or pulling a guy around to kick out the end, okay, to kick out your guy. Okay, fine. They weren't pulling anyone around. They weren't pulling anybody around. Like, you were supposed to block. Mitch is supposed to run behind your tail. Try and outrun one guy for 2 yards to the first down marker. And you said, bump it. I'll just let both guys go just for spits and giggles. So, you know what? It's don't even get me started, because I'm already going to get fired up. I'm too late. I'm fired up already, dude, because this joker and this falls squarely on the lap of Ryan Pace. Squarely. No ifs, ands, or buts. You can't even blame Nagy. You can't even. Lord knows I want to blame Nagy for damn near everything, and I can't blame Nagy for that. But I can blame him for not trying other people. That I can blame him for. Man, well, listen, we got to take a quick break. Ken's gonna rock with me from 10 to 11 o'clock hour. And hey, Joseph, thank you, Papa. You got any plans this weekend?
Yeah, man, we're gonna hang out, enjoy this beautiful weekend, enjoy the weather, and watch a little Bears football.
Got some college football too. The Pac-12 starts this weekend.
Yes. I'll be actually covering that. I'll be covering it from home. Let's just put it like that.
Okay.
Illinois. I think Illinois play tonight. Or no, they play tomorrow.
Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. But you got Clemson against ND. You got 5-5 against ND. So I'm definitely gonna turn into that game.
Yeah. So it'll be 3 stories I'll be working on. It'll be the Bears possible losing on Sunday. The NBA starting on December 22nd, which is good news. And then last but not least, it'll be probably something related to the election.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a whole nother cluster mess.
Lord. Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Stop counting! Stop counting! Did you see that thing I posted on Facebook where the South Florida Cubans had a salsa song, "I will vote for Donald Trump"?
Hey man, I've never seen so much fraud. I've never seen so much fraud in my life. I'm done with the election. I'm done with politicians. Period. I'm done with it.
I had a couple of different heated arguments with some people.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that you have to argue with people over such a bastard. And I put emphasis on bastard. I don't care if anybody doesn't like me for saying it, especially because I know, especially all 3 of us, when it comes to people of color, how a lot of the vitriol from this administration affects us. Like I always say, like, I don't find the Kanye West shit funny. Growing up in Chicago, there was a lot of times between the time that I was in junior high till I was an early adult where I was pulled over by the cops for no reason. Lucky enough, some of the cops were good people. Sometimes I was pulled over for reasons that I did, like trying to get away from the cops, and the white cop let me go for trying to do it. And so I'm not bad. All cops are bad guy, but still, when you have to explain to someone why you shouldn't vote this way, it's kind of redundant, to say the least. And sometimes I hate how, and I'm more of a sunny side person than a negative person, but I hate how we have to give everyone the benefit of the doubt when it comes to bullshit, because it's bullshit.
Yeah,
I'll do the Terrence part. I'll do the Terrence part for the show for you. I got you.
I know Terrence very well, but him and Eugene know how I feel about this whole election. Both sides are corrupt to me. You know, so I look at it like WWE wrestling, man.
Oh yeah, no. I'm with you, Joseph. It's not even. I don't trust either one of these MFers when it comes out. But I know that one of them sends out a message to people to do things to us that the other one doesn't. But that doesn't mean the other one doesn't do what they're supposed to do, especially when they're getting our votes. So the
other one can't remember what to say now. That's the
correct. No, listen, but you know what? But you know what? I'll take senile uncle. All right, then super hate with the platinum plan that just came out. Like dude, I'm just trying to survive. Listen, I have to do it. I let him go ahead.
I want no creepy uncle near my daughter. I want no creepy uncle near your daughter. I don't know no creepy uncle near nobody's daughters on here. Okay, and I'm putting my hands right here. I'm putting my hands right here because I'm sending a signal to everybody. You know, this is what I seen when I seen Joe Biden. He was doing this to little girls. I don't like that type of stuff, man. It's something wrong. It's something wrong.
I was gonna be like, what are you doing with your?
Why are you rubbing your nipples like that?
Put your hands down. Put your hands down.
It's time.
Joe Biden on this girl like this, man. I couldn't take it. I was like, that's enough for me, brother.
I was like, you channeling your inner prince and shit on me, or what are you doing?
Hey, and they got some Joe Biden t-shirts with his hands around this lady's boobs. I'm just like, it's getting crazy, brother. That's all I'm saying, man. It's getting nasty, man. It's getting nasty.
Well, Joseph, we will see you on Monday, Papa. You have a great weekend. You're gonna grill it all this weekend, or what? I know you're a grill master, so you.
You know what, man? I'm just gonna chill this weekend because this week been crazy, bro. It's been crazy. This whole election thing, the Bears suck. You know, everything, so I just need to take a chill pill. That's it.
Yeah.
I bet. Then we'll see you on Monday, all right?
All right. Peace.
All right, now. Hey, guys, we'll be right back. On the other side, we got more sports conversation. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. As Kenneth Davis sits with me for the next hour right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. In college football tomorrow, Illinois is looking for its first win of the season against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Both teams are 0-2 to start the season. The Illini are looking to get the offense going, which has averaged just 15 points per game through 2 games this year. Northwestern is at home against Nebraska. The Wildcats are 2-0 to start the year. Nebraska's 0-1. The Cornhuskers had last week's game canceled against Wisconsin after dropping the season opener against Ohio State. It's a top 5 showdown at Notre Dame Stadium. 4th-ranked Notre Dame will play host to number 1 Clemson tomorrow night. Clemson is 7-0. Notre Dame off to a 6-0 start. The Tigers are without starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Boomer Naturals delivers breathable protective face masks for kids and adults. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. I'm John Thayer on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
Prince like that, bro. Don't do
Welcome back.
The purple one like.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And my guy, Kenneth Davis, is with me for the next hour.
That was quick, though, Ivan. I'll give you props. That was quick.
I'm on it. I love Prince, though, but I was looking for exactly that. I was like, oh,
That was quick. That was very quick. That's good production right there. But Lord, don't do Prince. I don't know where we just went. See, I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. Again, I'll say this much to end the point of what Joseph was saying. There have been discussion. We saw Joe Biden getting to other people's personal spaces. You have the young lady that was working for his I don't want to say his campaign, but was in his office, and she came out with those details. But that was kind of somewhat debunked. But I wasn't there, so I don't know. Again, the lesser, I guess we got to use the lesser two evils. It's funny how, we do the shell game, right? One person emboldens people, and that's not to take away from Joe Biden and what he did as far as voting on bills that locked up people of color. So we got that one on him or whatever. So he's not some saint, I guess is the word I want to say. But then you have someone that emboldens people to react and tries to disrupt every tenet of our government, just like you saw yesterday. There's a vast difference from someone that sits in the office that's supposed to be held in such high regard that keeps shitting on it. And for people to be like, that's okay, it's ridiculous. And I'm just, it is. And I don't care. It's ridiculous. This isn't how it's supposed to be done. We all know it. And it should not be a tabloid in the fucking White House. It's just ridiculous. And I don't care. I don't think any president's been great either. Let me not say I'm not the Obama guy. But the fact that this cat, who I grew up in Jules, seeing and Star, Globe, and the Inquirer, all right, this is how I found out about this cat growing up as a shorty, because who was going to be his next wife or whatever the hell he was doing. Mm-hmm. And he's been in here destroying democracy. People that say you love America, he's been ripping democracy a new one. Stop with this, man. Miss me with that, all right? Because, see, the problem is, and I'll end it with this, there's some things that's not supposed to be played about.
I concur, and it's just, if you think about, just ask yourself this question: if everything that has happened in his presidency happened in the first 4 years of Obama's presidency.
Ooh.
How crazy would the right be? How livid would they be? Oh, you got just like a black man got a whole bunch of baby mamas. Okay, you got a whole bunch of kids with different women. Okay, and then now you're telling people grab women, grabbing them by the hoo-ha, and you know what I mean? Like this is type of stuff, and this was part of the conversation that I had with some people on Facebook about it yesterday, and they're like, they talked about, well, you wouldn't know what it's like to be kicked out of your country due to socialism and this and this. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I'll never understand that. I said, right. but you're a marginalized group now. I said, when you come here, you're a marginalized group, and you don't need to support people who puts people in cages. I said, because you know what, if you support people as you support this guy, and as he puts people in cages, and you don't support other Latinos, guess what? You're Cuban. He could throw your ass in the cage just as well, and then you're going to want the support from your fellow Latinos that you had when you want to support this guy who's holding other Latino groups in cages. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. I said, you have to understand, like it's all fine and dandy until it's you. I said, because if there was if it was Cuban kids in cages down in Florida,
they would have flipped.
Bingo.
Would have flipped out. If you go back to Elian Gonzalez. If you remember how big that was, like they would listen. Like, everything you're saying is correct. Also, I'll say this too, and this is for both parties. You need to start looking at the Latin community as not a monolith. You see, with Arizona, you got to go to the different segments, all right, and stop looking at them just because they're Spanish speaking as one large group. Because what you're pointing out, Shawn, is the differences between that group. And I'll say this to our Cuban friends. I get to a certain degree if Bernie was running, why you would kind of feel like that, even though that type of quote unquote socialism would be primarily for healthcare, but still you have someone that's moving in a socialist way, but saying he's going to do it for a good fashion. I'm sure there's plenty of people in Russia back in the days when you had Marx out there, it was like, maybe, but with Joe, that Joe isn't super left like that anyway. That's the reason why he's running. Like, none of us was sitting there like, man, dog, I hope it's Joe Biden. The realistic of us, and we were saying this to me and D before D left the show, we were talking to our producer, Ryan. And Ryan was like, I want nothing to do with Joe Biden. And we was like, neither do we. But he's the only one that could beat him because people are only want to vote for an old white man. All right. And that's just the truth of it. If you ran anyone outside of Joe Biden, this is over. This is the most for both people that anyone's voted for president ever. Think about that. And Shawn, you just made a great point. When you said there goes Mom too. Hey, Mom. When you pointed out that if this had happened to Obama, how crazy it would have been if it had happened to Obama. When you pointed it out, if it happened now, and to think that a guy that had hurt us during COVID has the second most votes ever, lets you know that some people just don't care. What are you about to say? I don't know. And I didn't rebel rouse. I didn't get Moms to come up in. I ain't say nothing too crazy, did I?
No. Like,
okay.
I just came in and she just threw me off. I'm like, what? I was like, I'm on the show. She's like,
I think she didn't come in the last section, Kenneth.
She's like, oh yeah, I forgot you're on the show. I was like, you're right, Mom.
She's like, she knows that sunny weather. It's time to go for that walk later on today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for real. That's crazy. Yeah, so it's a shame. So let's talk about. Let's get back.
Let's get off the politics.
Sports.
Yeah.
How about them 3 Silver Slugger awards for our White Sox? Jose Abreu with his 3rd, TA7, and Eloy Jimenez with their 1st. Your thoughts?
All 3 definitely deserved. Happy with the time that Eloy missed through the year that he was able to pull it off. It says a lot about his future. With Tim Anderson, dude, it's nothing but gravy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, who thought Tim Anderson was going to be this 2 years ago?
2 or 3 years ago? Nope.
Yeah, I thought he has a chance to be good. I didn't think he had the chance to be great. He's great, actually. And if yearly he starts to take those routine grounders and do what he needs to do with them, it'll submit his greatness. But with the bat in his hand, for somebody that didn't really grow up with baseball being his dominant sport, the fact that his hand-eye coordination is like that is ridiculous because baseball is clearly the hardest sport for anybody to
skill-wise
to play. And for him to be able to, especially like when you like, how often do you see a guy and you be like, don't throw him anything, no breaking balls, right? Like that's usually it's like, man, nothing breaking. Like you see, like you go back and watch the hits and just how his wrists are so effing fast. It feels good, man. I mean, if you asked me a year and a half ago, 2 years, could he be the best shortstop over Javi in Chicago? I would have told you no. And I mean, he has surpassed Javi Baez as of right now. If Javi Baez doesn't return to MVP form like he was a couple years back. And Jose Abreu, I mean, let's finish this off and give my man his MVP. All right. Proving that he's better than Paul Konerko. But I'm just a bastard that way. I love Paulie too, everyone. I love Paulie too. But I needed my guy who had been through so much losing here and decided to stay at this franchise. A lot of guys in Jose Abreu's world or like similar to him would have asked to be moved to somebody that was winning instead of going through a straight rebuild during the prime years of your career. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he wants to be here, and that's something that's important on this outside. When we see that you really want to be a part, I remember how I felt about Mark Burley earlier on when it was always rumors that he wanted to go home and play for the Cardinals, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, man, he want to be a Cardinal. And I gotten over it, but I remember, and I had fallen in love with Mark Burley. He's my favorite White Sox pitcher. I fallen in love with him, but it made me feel so good when Jerry went out and gave him a deal that he usually doesn't give pitchers for Burley to stay here when Burley could have made money on the open market and Burley signed the deal. Because that week, and you know, when it's getting closer to the trade deadline, all you do is think about your vets who you care about. And that's how that feeling that Burley wanted to be here, and because we're the second team in town, to be honest, it felt good. I love Mark Burley to this day, and the same is how I feel about Jose Abreu, who's saying he's going to sign himself. And then to have your greatest year and the nation stood up and appreciated it, you know, like it speaks volumes to him and how being the leader of this team. And the crazy part is, and you know, you had on full White Sox regalia last week, and I told you slow down. But the crazy part is they're gonna need that leadership moving forward with sincerity in the clubhouse. All right, because I don't know how you held that paper up. I don't know if that was sincere how you held that paper up, Shawn. It wasn't. I don't know if that was sincere enough. How you held that paper up.
Listen, I came out in my White Sox regalia because I wasn't a big fan of the hire of Tony La Russa, but these are my White Sox, and they got to roll with it. You know, he got to roll with it. I'm with him. I'm with him. And you know, I root for the team, the name on the front, not the name on the back. I agree. I think there could have been other. There would have been a lot of other managers that could have been better, but I'm not saying his guy isn't bad at all. Okay, he's not. It's not like you're getting some jamoke. You know what I mean? You're getting a 3-time World Series champion. You're getting a Hall of Fame manager. And the main question that people are having is you know, can he relate to the players? And I think he can. I think he's been in and around baseball since then. He hasn't left the game. I just would have rather had a younger guy in there. And I don't want to say because he speaks Spanish fluently, but I would have liked a Latino manager or AJ Hinch, someone that Rick Hahn said with a manager with recent baseball success.
Mm-hmm. Who's Tony La Russa been around? Like, all right, so he was the CEO of the Diamondbacks. He worked for Boston and he worked for Anaheim. But usually, when you're in those advisory roles, you're not necessarily with the players.
Right.
So I don't. So you know, you're in the higher rooms, and those people look a lot more like no one that's on this screen right now. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it could be overblown. Let me, because I don't want to come here and bash everything. It could be overblown that he hasn't reached out to any of his players, but it kind of doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that you did a round robin without the whole team or whatever, but there was a few numbers that you should have hit up by now. And we mentioned 2 of them in the shortstop and the first baseman. All right. Like, those guys by now should have had some contact with you. Especially TA, from the fact, like, so it gets to the point of everyone, especially everyone that knelt. Let me put it like that. Everyone that knelt should have gotten a phone call from you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier on, where people have a blind eye to things. And it's like, oh yeah, but it's okay. It's not okay if it's the other way. You're gonna feel a certain kind of way if it's the other way. But when it's not something that's hurtful to you or your sensibilities, it's easy to be like, forget it. You know what I'm saying? You listen. I don't think it's gonna go bad next year, but I think it's an unneeded distraction at times. And I'm going to be more into. I want to get ahead of this distraction. I guess is why this is a big deal. I think that was Jerry that was on that posted that. I want to get ahead of this distraction, and Tony could have started getting ahead of this, or should start to get ahead of this distraction. So by the time we get to spring training, this talking point is moot. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go, because now you're already playing with my emotions. And you're playing with my team. And baseball is different. It pulls on your heartstrings a different way if you really follow your team through the year, because it takes a lot of time to watch this sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to. I mean, you're giving yourself to this sport when you put in the time to really follow your team. So when it goes through ups and downs, it hurts a different way to a certain degree with me. And I love all my big 3 sports. I'm not the biggest hockey guy, whatever, but I do have an affinity for the Blackhawks. But yeah, it hurts, and it's just unnecessary. And the fact that now, I don't want to relitigate the old discussions, but like what you said, the fact that Jerry Reinsdorf wants to do something for himself and says screw the rest of us, and particularly those of us of color, with a throwback who, you know, until he got this job, never told us that he changed how he was doing. I had James Fegan on the show last week, and he said that he was going to look for some. He mentioned to me the Maxwell cat from the A's that got blackballed out of the league. They had to go down to Mexico, came back with the Mets. It had a little bit of mental distress too, and how, you know, Tony La Russa reached out to him, and which, yeah, that's good. That story needs to be put in front, and we need to know the full Tony La Russa, because sometimes it's easy just to look at someone and be like, well, they said this means who they are. But the problem with Tony La Russa, there's been no mea culpa. You know, like, it's okay to say I was wrong. And I'll end it with this. I hate when people cape behind the military and say that what Colin Kaepernick did was a slap in the face of the military. Do you know, especially as people of color, the military was initially military was basically sports as far as a way to get out of the poverty. Like, do you understand how many of us have? My grandfather was in the military. I have uncles that have been in the military. I have a cousin who serves in the military. There's no way in the world that we sit here and say to disrespect the military. And when people pull that out to use that as an excuse to not listen to whatever Colin Kaepernick was trying to say, they cover their ears up, right? You're really showing the type of person you are. I mean, because you're not listening. Like, no one by any means, no one. And then to read him say, well, kneeling is disrespectful to the flag. When the Queen's knighting, motherfuckers, I ain't never heard somebody say kneeling was disrespectful. Like, kneeling, actually taking a knee. See, that's how you know how things get super crazy. All right, how it's just crazy when someone kneels to object for something, and that is like, oh my God, right? Like that. Like, just take a second to think. Like, we live in our own silos, and we don't take a second to think about how other people feel. I'll end it with this: being a Black man. I've always had to think in a way about how other people feels because I'm bombarded with it. Television doesn't have, growing up, didn't have plenty of shows that people look like me. I learned how other people feel because all the information I'm getting are from people that don't look like me. So you live in other people's shoes a lot more. And then other people live in your shoes as far as the understanding. And I just think people need to really open up their minds, because I always think about how the other side feels when I try to say something. I try to look at both sides of the situation. I just don't do it because I'm black and this is just the black and this is just the black and this is just the black. No, I try to why do they think like that? Well, okay, let me list a couple of reasons perhaps why they think like that. I go through that with a lot of stuff in my entire life, but I don't feel like everyone else does it. And you don't have to do it to a certain degree because you live in a world that's your world.
Mm-hmm. I want to say this about Kaepernick. I had no problem with Colin. The first problem I had was with him sitting, him just completely just ignoring it. Because I'm like, well, dude, if you have a problem, you have an opportunity to either stand right there and do something, or like he did, take a knee in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? This is my issue. This is what is bothering me. I don't have a problem with it. The problem that I heard was more, and I'm a veteran, but the problem that I heard was more from non-veterans. They were more upset about, like you said, Kenneth, the family members and everything. I'm like, okay, but you don't understand what the oath that veterans had took prior. That oath's over after your term of service. People can still hold on to that oath, but legally, it's pretty much done once you served up. But my point is that you took oath to protect everybody's rights, right? If you took that oath and you believe in that oath, why do you say why would you ridicule Colin Kaepernick? And I'm speaking for vets. The majority of the people, the backlash that Colin Kaepernick received was from people that never served a day in their life. So it's almost, to me, it's their anger is almost mute, because it's who are you to speak for me?
Well, here's the biggest issue is that they sit there and they'll talk about, don't disrespect the veterans, don't do this, don't do that. But have you seen what our government, the one that you're so proud in America and everything else, what this government has done to our veterans?
Democrats and Republicans.
Everybody. No.
Democrats and Republicans.
Nobody gets a pass on this one.
Mm-hmm.
There should, if you really cared, if this country really cared about the veterans, the way they say they do, and the way that certain people think that the country cares about it, because they don't care. They don't give a damn about veterans at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then there should be a jump to the front of the line for healthcare, jump to the front of the line for affordable housing.
They should be able to go. I'm sorry to interrupt. They should be able to go to any doctor they want to go to, and not just have to go to the VA and deal with that BS. But go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
And they should go to front of the line for therapy, for all these things. This is you want to show the veterans how much you care. Then this is you care, because the things that they see in combat. Okay, if you've never seen a man's head blown off, you never see your boy that you've been in basic training with, or maybe you've been with him for 3 years, and you see his freaking head blown off. Mm-hmm. That's gonna mess you up. Okay, and you see another guy whose legs blown off, and you see blood squirting out of this guy's stomach. Okay, or you see one of your boys step on a landmine, and it just blown up over your face. These are psychological things that don't just go away.
Yeah,
they don't just go away. You need counseling. And these are the services that are not being provided. How many vets are homeless? I would love to be able to do that and go around and say, hey, listen, boom, boom, boom. Get homeless vets off the streets, get them, 1-bedroom places, those type of things. Just and get them help, because they got to talk these things out, because that's not normal. Seeing your boy blown to smithereens is not normal. And these are the things that happen on a regular basis, especially when you're deployed overseas, that people don't understand. And so don't sit there and tell me that, you're disrespecting the veterans, when you don't go after the government for being disrespectful to the veterans when they get back, and not the veterans when they get back.
Or putting them in harmful ways in wars that we shouldn't even be in. So that's on top of that. You really care about them, but you have them fighting wars that we have no business being in, risking their lives. You don't care about them. Stop with that BS. Go ahead.
Yep.
No, I was just to Sean's point. I was going to say, it's not only their, you have to do things yourself out there. You know what I mean? It's the entire the war as a whole can destroy the mind of a young man, of any man, really. But I get you guys' point. You guys are spot on when it comes to the veterans. But going back to the Kaepernick thing, I really felt I really felt. I really feel like I have to say that. I really feel like you're definitely guaranteed your opinion on this. But if you haven't taken the oath, who are you to speak for someone? It's like if I'm trying to speak for you, Kenneth, you know what I'm saying? That's how I say, like, who are you to speak for me? If it's vet to vet, like I'm talking to you, and there's a problem, okay, then I can understand because this is your problem. You've done this and that in order to pretty much have a more substantial opinion. I guess I would say.
It's like us telling women how to carry a baby to full term.
Right.
Exactly.
Like you don't even know. Shut your ass up.
Right. Right.
That was the biggest thing. That was the biggest mix-up with the whole Kaepernick thing because I just felt like my voice and a lot of other people's voices weren't even like either they were jumbled up or they weren't even heard. It was just all of a sudden, boom, everybody's against each other, and I thought that was bullshit.
But the biggest problem with that was Colin himself. He never brought it back to the original idea. He never once he took the knee, he never corrected people. Said no. This is not about the flag. Right?
Well, he did. Remember the guy that was from Seattle, the ex
Nate Boyer.
Nate Boyer. That they talked, and he was like, kind of what Ivan said. I wish you didn't sit. That's another way to do it. And he explained that as far as he wasn't going against the military. But I'll agree with you, Shawn, on this. Colin Kaepernick isn't necessarily a perfect vessel, and this is another thing that bothered me with with Tony La Russa, because he says that it has to be followed by action. Listen, I'll tell you this: if LeBron James follows what he says with actions, but if LeBron James didn't follow it with action, but use his platform as vast as it is to highlight injustice, I wouldn't be like, well, that's not sincere, buddy, because you didn't follow, because you're shedding a light on something that a lot of people wouldn't see. So when you're saying that, that's BS, all right? Because what Colin Kaepernick started a discussion about what we knew growing up here. I mean, just say that's another reason why, like I say, like Kanye literally was raised from my primary residence like 2 miles away east. He's closer to the lake. He's 2 miles closer to the lake than I was. So I know he went, and he's a year older than me. I know we went through a lot of the same experiences. And when someone's sitting here and emboldening injustice, and you're taking sides with that person, but you've been a person on the other side and had to deal with that injustice, that's BS to me. You know what I'm saying? And that going to what Tony Russo was saying about Colin Kaepernick, he didn't deem it sincere because we all see Colin Kaepernick with the baseball caps and showing the guns initially. If you actually read his story, like going back to college, being adopted, if you read his story in a way, that's kind of who he is, like growing. Like I remember reading about him becoming a Kappa, and one of his buddies on the football team, I believe, was like, yeah, let's go out, let's go out and be Kappas or whatever. And he said, the buddy showed up, and the buddy was unsure if Cap was going to show up, but Cap was there and basically was more Kappa than the dude. And the reason I'm pointing that out is it seemed when Colin Kaepernick bites into something, he doesn't really let it go. He goes all the way with it. Like he's single-minded in that type of way. If you read his life story. So yes, back when he was more immature initially, that wasn't who he was. But as he started to look at what was happening and thinking about the platform that he had, and you could say it wasn't perfect, he decided to highlight something. What's wrong with it? Like, it's so bizarre, right? Like, for instance, you mentioned as far as Cuban Americans coming up, Cubans and Cuban Americans, and we could say from racism as far as, a Cuban dinghy show up is pulled in, a Haitian dinghy showed up is kicked back out. That's not the point that I'm trying to make right now. I want everyone to be safe. I want DACA people that the dreamers to be Americans because they've been Americans. All right, like it's not even that many of them. Where it's like, oh my God, it's going to flip the election. Even though with this election, hey, maybe it could have. but like, I'm a person that roots for goodness, regardless if it helps me or people that look like me. So and again, I can say this as a person of faith. Or say this as a person that believes in nothing as far as the afterlife. I'm saying as a human being that believes that human beings are supposed to take care of other human beings. And if you don't have that sensibility, to me, shut the fuck up and don't tell me about how good of a person you are, but. All right, like, I'm a good person, but. No. In all fairness, and regardless of how good your actions have been, when push comes to shove, you're not a good person.
Yeah, I agree, Kenny. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. You know, it's I
told you I'll take care of the Terrence part today. It was gonna get blacker and blacker. But listen. All right. Still, it's good that when it comes back, let's get back on sports. It's good to see that our guys, again, being the second team in town, nationally, we're getting the respect. Nationally, when I hear people say that this was the best, Jeff Passan say that this was the best job that's out there. You know what I'm saying? It fuels you, and I don't even want to get back to the Tony part. It's a groundswell. And hopefully, I'll say this about Megan and Tony Russa. Jerry's going to try to prove he's right. So, Jerry, with the pandemic, open up that purse strings, shell out that cash. I understand if you can't get Trevor Bauer, you can definitely go out there and get us Stroman. You know what I'm saying? We can definitely solidify that rotation, you know, because we can't go into the season thinking that Dunning, Cease, and Kopech are it. Because one of them's going to get hurt and one of them's probably going to be off half of the season. You know, like that's – especially if you get in the majority of the games. Let's just say if you get in 100 games, all right? So go out and get us someone else, all right? Definitely we need somebody out there and right. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I honestly got love for Nomar Mazara, but it just didn't work, buddy. All right, so go out and get somebody in right.
I'm okay with not getting someone in right. I'm okay with platooning Mazara and Adam Engel.
Yeah, Sean, I'm talking about when I'm sorry for interrupting. I don't mean a everyday guy. I mean a guy that you can supplant with Engel. I'm an Engel guy. I mean so I'm not talking about like Springer or someone like that. I'm just saying like go out there, go get you a guy out there with a nice left back that you want to platoon with Adam Engel. Because I do want to see more of Adam Engel because he's shown that right now at least he's shown that he's just not a defensive player. So I like defense. I don't think you have to have just rakers all across the damn field. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a fan of Adam Engel, so I'm with you. I don't mean by go out and break the bank for someone to come out and write, but I still think you need another option out there. You know what I'm saying? You need another option.
I do. I'm a big fan of Adam Engel. And, you know, 2 years ago, I said, man, if this guy can get to like 270, maybe 280, I'm like, he'll be perfect. Dude hit 295. He was at 300 to the last week of the season. And I granted it was a limited amount of at bats because of the fact that it was him and Nazara. But he came up clutch. He came up clutch so many times. And the thing about him that I love about him is he plays. We've seen him knock it out of the park. We've seen him lay it down and beat it out. We've seen him steal bases. We've seen him take home runs away. Now we see him starting to get consistent at the plate. So now what we need to see, I need to see from him what I saw from Tim Anderson, not this past season, last year, when his second good season in a row. Yoel Moncada, before he got sick, needed a second good season in a row. So it's not just a fluke.
Right.
I need him at least 280 or better in this season coming up. If he gets anywhere near 300, man, then that's what you want. Hell, you might even only have two outfielders, Lou Bob in right center and Adam Engel left center.
Right, and Eloy in the net.
Well, I mean, what if you went after a Brantley or a Ozuna? You know what I mean? What if those guys? What if that potentially became available, and you were able to go ahead and match an Ozuna or a Brantley with a third stringer, or maybe two pitchers who could either platoon or one in the bullpen, one in the starting rotation.
How much is Ozuna going to cost? Like, that's my only thing with Ozuna, but I'm not against it. I think Brantley would be cheaper. But what do you think, Sean?
I want to give me the pitcher first.
Mm-hmm.
Give me right field comes after pitcher.
Definitely.
That comes after pitcher. So depending on how much we have to shell out for a 1 through 3 will determine who we're able to get. Because if we have the ability to go get a number 1, okay, go get him. If we get the ability to go get a number 2, go get him. There's just give a damn. You know, Dallas Keuchel's not going to give a damn. I got my money. I got my World Series ring. I'm good.
Right.
And so, depending on who we get, what caliber of pitcher we get, and how much we spend on him will determine. Because don't forget, we still got to sign McCann.
That's what I want to get to. You're not going to be able to keep him. I need another backstop because I know Yasmani Grandal wants to be out there almost every day. He doesn't need to at this age and with the length of that contract. I need you guys to go get it. I wish we could sign James McCann. James McCann is about to go out there and get a starting job and get paid. I would like to keep him, but I need 2. I think we've seen it now.
How about this? Ivan said, trade Grandal.
Woo! No.
No, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't because I don't think we've seen Yasmani, the whole Yasmani last year. You know what I'm saying? I think he was adjusting to a new league with the shortened season. I mean, and I know that the numbers don't say it, he's a better catcher than James McCann. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just Amani Grandal. Like let's relax. We didn't know James McCann was going to kind of what Shawn was saying about having 2 years of proving yourself. We didn't know James McCann only had a half the season before. He didn't have he had a Paul Konerko season. You know, that's when you only play good for half of the season. He had a Paulie season. All right. No, I'm gonna keep Grandal because I think even if push comes to shove, he will learn how to properly catch Lucas Giolito. I mean, one of the things that he is diligent with getting familiar with his pitchers, you know what I'm saying? But you already had, I know we can talk about the opening week or whatever, but that didn't make any sense and they hadn't been around each other like that as far as Grandal catching Lucas Giolito. But this guy is a catcher's catcher and he's one of the better catchers. So no, even if I have I like Lucas Giolito more, I'm not Lucas Giolito, if I like James McCann more, and James McCann has shown how it be, I want to just re-sign James McCann to whoever's going to offer him something. I want to pay him that money, but I think he wants to be out there more. And so I think that he's looking at it as far as look at what I've proved. I mean, if you think about who he was when he came from the Tigers here and who he is now, right? He's a somebody now, and he wants to show that he's a somebody, and I respect that. I want him to stay with my team, but I wouldn't get rid of Yasmani Grandal for James McCann. I wouldn't do that.
Reminds me of Tupac. I'm missing nobody knew this big man on the block. I just like the way that McCann commands his pitching staff. I love the way he commands his pitching staff.
Definitely.
And you know, if I were, I'd love to say, listen, put you, you know, every two days. No, you got 2 days. You got 2 days, and then Yasmani, you're DH. Your can, you're a DH. You know what? You know what? And say, hey, listen. Yeah, so you might not catch every day, but you know you're in the game. Your bat's still there. You've made strides with these with this team. All they can do is say no. I just think if you kind of run it by him, say, hey, listen, look what you're part of what we're building here. You know, and if he says no, I want more money because I want to start, I ain't mad at you. Right. I ain't mad at you because you know what? At the end of the day, cash rules everything around me. Cream gets the money, dollar bill, y'all, and I ain't mad at you. You know, and I won't be. You know, I'm just being selfish because you know what? That would be a first world problem to have those 2 stud catchers just alternating. Boom, 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 boom. 2 days, you're 2 days, you know, or you catch tonight and I'll catch tomorrow afternoon's game. You know what I mean? That type of deal. But you're still playing because now you can, after catching, now you can just go to DH.
Right.
Okay. Grandal, he can play first base. Jose can be DH. Grandal. So, you know, there's just the rotation that you can have because now you don't have, you know, the parrot anymore. You know, that's freed up some money for us. And I just like the chemistry and the vibe that he has with these young pitchers. And maybe Grandal can get that with these guys, and that's a possibility. But I know it's a reality with McCann because it's there. We don't have to worry if he can find that with these guys. He's found it. He's found it, and they trust him. I mean, how many times did Lucas say, "I don't even know." In his no hitter, he said he shook him off once.
Right.
Once, that is ultimate trust of your backstop. And when you have that, when you get pitches are they're like kickers, and they're so emotionally, when they find someone they can trust, yeah, you got to keep it. And again, if it doesn't work out because he gets offered more money, and he doesn't want the platoon role and the DH and catching and first base, you know what? At least give it a yeoman's effort. All they can do is say no.
Right. I would prefer it. I mean, if I were a White Sox fan, if I were that team, I would prefer it that I keep a James McCann, but and it probably might be the start that right field gets platoon. But I see Adam Engel taking that over. I don't see Mazzara. You gave him a shot last year. I know he got hurt and stuff like that, but I just feel like with Adam Engel, he has more. I feel like he has more motivation now. I feel like he's trending upwards now. Yes, he's got a little more confidence. And like you said, Sean, if he wasn't platooned, who knows what his numbers could have been, and what he could have done if they didn't have to platoon him and Mazzara the entire 60-game season. But I just feel like Adam Engel, I think they'll be okay with Engel in right field, not necessarily Mazzara. But if they lose a McCann, I don't know where you go from there. Like, who do you go and bring in that can duplicate what James McCann can do?
That'll be tough. That'll be tough. And I feel that Adam Engel has more invested in this because he's been with the organization for a while. He's been with the organization since he was batting 30 something.
Below the Mendoza line, yeah.
Yeah, 130s. You know what I mean? Then he got up to 186. And then, and then I was like, man, just get to the 270s, maybe somewhere. And, we knew his defense is Gold Glove. We knew that. But it was just, he's one of those guys that has a lot of raw ability, speed, explosiveness. And I love him because he'll lay down a bunt. He's the kind of guy who you need on your team that you can ask to do whatever. Sometimes you're not gonna ask Jose Abreu to bunt,
right?
If the situation calls for it.
You love bunting in the American League, don't you, Sean?
Huh?
You love bunting in the American League, don't you?
You have to understand. We have that is a weapon. Getting people on base who can run the bases is a weapon, and people don't use that anymore. Okay, and if you because since people don't do that anymore, oftentimes the defense with bunting isn't as sound as it should. Okay, and now you get a guy who can steal a base, who can get on a pitcher's last nerve, steal a base, hang a curveball, hang a breaking ball, and now there's a lot more problems than just the bunt and a guy in second. The guy in second just is coming home along with the batter. There's a lot of do, and you stress the defense. What you do is you want to maximize everything you have, because if you don't maximize the speed that you have, it's gone. In a few years, they're not going to be as fast as they are.
Right.
Okay. So why not maximize it, and why not force a defense to play defense? There's a crazy idea.
How well does he bunt as of now, though? Because I agree with you. If you have a guy that can lay down a bunt, because the art of the art of bunting is being lost, because you used to have guys that would literally and just throw the bat head to the ball, and the ball would be deadened in between him and the pitcher with all the room to run in the world without having to worry. That's become a lost art. So it's unless Adam Engel could do that consistently, they're gonna still want him to hit that ball in the air. So for me, and I get your point, you can catch him off guard, but I would want, unless we're struggling to find runs and we need to break something up, or it's late in the game, I'm gonna have my guys, every single one of them on that White Sox team, just hit the ball hard, because they all can. They all can put it out. They all can hit the fence on a fly. They all could do that. So for me, unless it's a certain situation, or man, you need to find something, we're struggling. Hey, boom, I lay down a bunt, and then you get on, you catch them off guard, a surprise. As far as a momentum thing for the team. But I mean, I would be afraid to give anybody just a total. Hey, man, you got a green light when you decide you want to lay down a bunt. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I just think that if because everybody and Adam Engel's one of them because he can knock the ball out of the ballpark just as well. Now, what do you do? Do you run it on first and second? Do you play the infield in for the bunt, or do you lay it back? Because if you play him in, and now you can let him swing away. If you play back, now he can bunt, and this guy has legitimately can do that. So now as a defense, you're kind of stuck because this guy can do everything. You know, maybe if you're fake bunt, you show him bunt in the first pitch, and then you get a couple more 2 balls, no strikes, 2 balls, 1 strike, and then maybe you try a bunt again just to catch him off guard. There's so many different things you can do with a guy who has that ability. Now, I don't want him bunting every time. No, don't get me wrong. I want that in you. When you have to prepare, the more that you make a defense prepare, and it doesn't matter football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, whatever. The more you have to prepare on defense, okay, the more that you can overlook or not prepare properly. Okay, and when you have all these different studs on the White Sox who are just knocking the ball. Okay, I can just play deep. But now this guy can do both. Now what do I do? Now what do I? I baseball is it's a game where it's very chess-like. Okay. And I like it because, and that's one of the reasons I like it because now it's a thinking man's game, just like most sports, but baseball is it's a thinking man's game. And if you think, if you think I'm bunting or if you think I'm going opposite field or you think whatever, there's stuff that I can do to kind of, if you show your hand, there's stuff that I can do to come. You're showing me with your hand. Follow me? So I just think that's a lost art in baseball, and you're not going to win every game 7-0, 12-0, 12-10. Okay, sometimes you need
situational hitting.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely need that. And if you have a third baseman, what if a third baseman is a defensive replacement and he hasn't practiced, and now you lay down a bunt, and when he lays down a bunt, first of all, you know who the hell Adam Engel is. You know that dude runs like a deer. So now you know I gotta pick this up barehanded because I can't pick it up with in the glove and transfer it. I gotta pick it up barehanded. I gotta throw off balance, and it's got to be on the money because this dude is rolling. There's just a whole bunch of different things when you stress the defense. Great things happen. I don't know. That's just me.
When you let your pitchers pitch and get out of situations like in a playoff spot, I think that comes to you. I really do think the part of their issue, part of what held them back was the manager. Does Tony hold them back this year with the small ball that they were showing with Ricky Renteria? They did play some small ball with Ricky. Or does he go back? Does he emphasize that even more, Tony? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you approach this season with this new manager? Because you were going one way, right? You're using small ball, but then you're hitting the ball out of the freaking yard. And does he want to go a different route? Does he want, you know what I'm saying? Does he want to play any type of small ball? Or does he want to just go ahead and play whatever this generation type of baseball is?
I would love it if he gave people if you come up at the top of the inning, okay, and your name is Luis Robert, Tim Anderson, Yoel Moncada, or Adam Engel, like you can get on by bunting, you have the green light. Because there's nothing worse than starting the inning off, running around first, nobody out. Because now the pitcher's like, damn, now I got to come out of the stretch. Now, and just say, just say, hey, listen, today just look at me. I'll let you know if you have the green light. The next day you might say, you know what, today you got the green light. If your name is those the names that I just mentioned, you lead off an inning. Okay, you got the green light. Then the next day you might be say, hey, we'll go. It'll be a game, individual case by case situation. Mm-hmm. It could just change. Tony La Russa is not. I don't think he's going to take that off the table. The guy is a World Series winning
I'm with you
manager, you know. And
He's
don't get me wrong,
he's gonna play any way that's advantageous for the team. I believe he's like this is Tony La Russa. Like, I mean, even if I bash him, look, this is Tony La Russa. He's gonna play whatever game he needs to play for them to get a victory. So I would think
he's ever had a
all
team.
the time.
Do you think he's ever had a team this freaking powerful? I mean, you had the Bash brothers, but that's 2 guys.
Right.
We're talking. There's literally 6 guys, 7 guys in this lineup that can go yard. Do you think he had these guys had a team with this much speed? I mean, as goofy as Eloy Jimenez is, that Joker can run. Abreu can run. You know what I mean? So trust me, I think this. See, now you got to go there, right? You son of a biscuit.
What?
It's a hate. Oh, see, time to go. All right, take me out. Take me out. He did that. That's when you went too far. You know what you was doing when you did that. That was going too far. All us big hit brothers, that's disrespectful.
I got big hits too.
No, I know you do, and that's that's how I know you knew what you were doing. See, that's when I first called you on it a month or 2 ago. That wasn't a compliment to Jose. That's a White Sox diss when you show that. All right, no. You guys have a good weekend.
Hey, Kenneth, you have a good one, Papa. We'll see you on Monday. All right.
No doubt, bros.
All right. Guys, we got on the other side of the break, we got our guy, the draft doctor himself, Phillips. So don't go anywhere, folks. We got some great Bears talk coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. In college football tomorrow, Illinois is looking for its first win of the season against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Both teams are 0-2 to start the season. The Illini are looking to get the offense going, which has averaged just 15 points per game through 2 games this year. Northwestern is at home against Nebraska. The Wildcats are 2-0 to start the year. Nebraska's 0-1. The Cornhuskers had last week's game canceled against Wisconsin after dropping the season opener against Ohio State. It's a top 5 showdown at Notre Dame Stadium. 4th-ranked Notre Dame will play host to number 1 Clemson tomorrow night. Clemson is 7-0. Notre Dame off to a 6-0 start. The Tigers are without starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Boomer Naturals delivers breathable protective face masks for kids and adults. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. I'm John Thayer on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on his TGI Mickey Ficky Friday, and I am fired up to have my next guest come on. And he is a good friend of the program, and we've hit it off since Jump Street. We hit it off, and we're gonna get down and dirty. We're gonna keep it 100, man, and talk about my Bears. You see, I got my Bears, my Salute to Service Bears T-shirt on. If you can't see me, it's just because I got my camo stuff on, so that's why I kind of just make sure I don't blend into the screen. But anyway,
are you there?
No, I'm here. You might not see me because of the shirt, but that's all right. No, guys, you can find he is the founder of the Tape Never Lies Network, which I think is could more apropos because, man, growing up believe it or not, we used to watch film in grammar school. I shit you not. We used to watch film in grammar school when I was in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. We used to watch film. We'd go over to Coach Quinn's house, and they'd have hot dogs for us, and we'd go watch films, and we'd go through. And it wasn't every week; it was every couple of weeks. And the Coach Quinn would always, Coach Quinn and Coach Shallow would always say, "Tape never lies. Tape never lies." And so when I heard that network, I'm like, it reminded me of Coach Quinn and Coach Schaller, because the tape never lies. It doesn't. It's all, everything's right there. So let's bring him out. He's a good friend of the program. You can find him on Phil_Atoshin. Man, he is our boy, the draft doctor himself, Phil Atoshin. Phil, what's up, Papa? How are you?
What's up? How are we doing today?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I got struggling a little bit. I got a newly found cough a couple of days ago, which sucks.
I
but
know, I've been
what are you gonna
checking
do?
in on you. I've been checking in on you. It's been
I appreciate
crazy.
it, brother. Is it still snowing out there or what?
No, it's hot today now. That's how
Yeah?
crazy New England is, as you know, and Worcester. Yeah, it's like 75 degrees, maybe 78 out here.
Dude, it was snowing last week.
It was snowing last week. Now it's hot. I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt. I'm sweating in a car. So I hope my acoustics are all right. But for this show and you and my boy Ivan, I'd do anything, man. I love you guys. I appreciate the dope intro. Yeah, the tape. Speaking of that, the tape never lies. That was my dad's mantra. Really,
Yeah.
It's like a tip of the hat to him as an old football head coach. He always said that no matter what, the tape will never lie. And that's really how I came up with the name and the brand, and we went from there. So as we broke off real quick from the old network, it was my partner, Shane Marsaw, I'm like, we got to think of something catchy. He's like, dude, we got it already. I go, what are we going to, he's like, you have a series, Draft Dr. Phil's Tape Never Lies. We're going to call it the Tape Never Lies Network. Everyone knows that. And he was right. And look where we are now, right?
That's why you call him the smartest man.
That's exactly. He was pissed that he couldn't come on the show earlier this week. He was excited to come on, and unfortunately, stuff happened at his job. But
that damn day job.
Those feds. Yeah. Oh man.
Hey, so let's get right to it, man. This Bears team. First of all, they had a COVID scare. They shut down the facility yesterday.
It's crazy.
Cody Whitehair tested positive for COVID-19. But they were able to practice this morning, and I haven't heard anything of them not being able to practice. So it's you still got to test today, tomorrow, before for the game on Sunday. Where are we going to go with this offensive line? Because that is the Achilles heel of this team is this offensive line, and we only have two guys. The highest round picks we have are second round picks on that offensive line, and they're not even Daniels, and they're not even playing.
Right.
So now you're dealing with undrafted free agents, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 15th rounders. I'm exaggerating for effect.
Oh, you are technically undrafted guys.
And now we got to go up. Luckily, we're not going up against a juggernaut like a couple of the other teams that we faced before. But where do you see this game going offensively for the Bears on Sunday?
First of all, when I heard about the shutdown at Hallis Hall, I thought it was the Tape Never Lies 100 crew heads out there shutting it down because of the coach and the offensive line troubles. But then in all seriousness, the COVID stuff obviously adds up. And, I got a text earlier. I don't know if you know, so maybe I'm breaking it here, but a Fetty has been cleared So
Yeah, no,
okay, you got it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got that early this morning. I didn't know if they released it. I've been crazy busy at my day job. But so Fetty coming back, so you're not missing all of these pieces, even though your Massey's gone, Whitehair's gone. You were hoping Leno would be gone. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
But in reality, sometimes people, like we talked about, given the opportunity, step up. The coach is the real big issue for me because of what he can't find his identity. And clearly the Brian Greasy, the fights on the sideline, the Javon Wims fight, you're seeing the cracks and the kinks in the armor of what Nagy's culture and that BU, club dub, all of that stuff kind of seep through, But the offensive line troubles have always been there. I've documented this for years in regards to this coach and what their philosophy is. And we had the great, who I believe, Hall of Famer, Olin Kreutz, come on our show this past week. If you haven't seen the interview, honestly,
That was phenomenal interview. Phenomenal.
No smoke here. That was probably the best football interview I've ever done. And I've had some great ones, not blowing smoke. This one, really, it was so timely, Shawn, because of the injuries, because of COVID, but because of the offensive line. And a lot of what Olin was saying, and he was using my own tape breakdowns. I mean, how humbling is that? And showcasing the issues of fundamentals, accountability, aggressiveness, all of the things you and I were talking about 2 weeks ago on Keeping It 100. So something's got to be done. The great Harry Heastan was a scapegoat. Now you got Juan Castillo, his reputation. Is he going to be the next scapegoat at some point? And I get so amped up with this because coaching in football, period, I don't care what level you're on. Like a lot of these fans and fantasy football stuff invades into the reality of football. The coach is the most important thing. He sets the tone of what's going to happen, how you're going to block a front. Are you prepared? Where are the matchups you're going to attack? All of the things that Nagy misses shows up on tape. And thus, it's almost miraculous.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Phil,
I was getting a spam call. I hope you can hear it. Can you hear me? It's just calling my phone. So I just hope Nagy can turn this around and really pass the baton. Olin said it. My father said it on BHL right after the show game last week. He's too busy looking in his play sheet instead of being the leader of the team. And I don't care who they line up out there. As long as they play 100%, these are all NFL players, Shawn. You see it every week in, week out. Everybody, next man up attitude. Next man up, right? So hopefully this weekend, I mean, you're playing a team that's coming back down to earth. They got Derrick Henry and what else? So they've got their own issues over there. They cut Beasley, their big free agent signing a couple of years ago.
Yep.
So now's the time. The Bears can get turned around here. You hope Matt Nagy can really pass that baton. I don't care who it is. Is it going to be DiFilippo or Laser? However he decides to do it. But something's got to be done in regards to his arrogance and pride.
Yeah, so Javon Wims is out this week, and he's out for the next 2 weeks, next 2 games. I am excited to see Riley Ridley, and I know that he's been in the doghouse with Nagy. Your thoughts on Riley Ridley? Do you see him try, have a breakout game, basically to show this is what you've been missing, this is what you've been holding on the sideline, or what do you expect from Riley Ridley this week?
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Is that Just me?
It could be.
Let me leave and come back in because I think maybe the spam call. Ivan, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you. I don't know. Maybe the spam call.
You guys sound like robots. Hold on, I'm coming right back in.
Okay.
Nice. Those spam calls, man, they keep calling me too. I'm sick of it. I get like 4 or 5 of them in the morning. I'm like, dude, it's 8 o'clock. Like, what?
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, what do you think I'm doing? Do you think I'm ready to buy your product? No.
I'm still in bed. You want me? Yeah. You know what? Let me go get my wallet and buy whatever you want at 8 o'clock in the morning. Get your ass out of here.
It's like, no, my car insurance is up. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good on insurance. I'm good on a timeshare. Spare me.
You know, I'm excited to see Riley Ridley this week. I really am. You know, I really want. I think all this kid needs is time. All this kid needs is reps. You know, I just think that he is he's a diamond in the rough. I think this guy can be a really, really, really big piece. He's going to be a superstar. I think he can be a star.
I want to know.
He can be a star.
I want to know what got him landed in Matt Nagy's doghouse. You know, like with a team that's looking for playmakers, you go ahead and suppress a playmaker. You know what I'm saying? Like you go ahead and you don't allow a playmaker to maybe potentially make a play. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. You there, Phil?
There we go. I can hear you now. I don't know what happened there. I had to maybe move the phone. The Heat, the New England Heat. I don't know what's going on here. But the reality is.
So we were talking about Riley.
Yeah.
About Riley Ridley. And I even asked a question and about this, and like, you know what? You know, this is why would you throttle a guy when you're looking for playmakers? This guy's a playmaker. Okay. This is part of the reason why his arrogance is going to be his undoing, is because you may have gotten into, I don't know why he got into his doghouse. I have no idea. But the fact of the matter is, you got a guy who some great things were said about coming into the when he came into onto the Bears a couple of years ago, and you know he's a beacon of route running is what
beacon of light.
Beacon.
Yeah, Ryan Pace.
you know, and he's not playing. You know, and here's what I wish Ryan Pace would say. Listen, his ass on the field. You get him on the field because we don't have anyone else. You know, why? At least, what did we talk about before? We have some of the offensive linemen that we didn't know what they could do. Why? Because they didn't have a chance.
Right.
Get him out there, see what he can do. And, you know, you guys may end up not ever seeing eye to eye, but if you guys win games because of that, trust me, it'll be fine.
Did every coach really love Deion Sanders as the person? Probably not. He didn't tackle anybody. But he locked people down. He talked smack. He probably put a lot of pressure on you as a coach because he ran his mouth all week leading up to the game. Coaches have to be able to leave politics out of the game. And in Chicago, especially, and we tackled this with Olin, Ted Phillips, the whole thing starting up top. The answer to Riley Ridley as the player, if in reality, of my assessment, this has been way too long a wait to see him in his action on the football field. I've seen Anthony Miller give up on routes, drop balls. Look at this play. 3rd and what was it, 19? Anthony makes a great play. In overtime, to drive down to win the game, Anthony Miller drops a simple pass. The inconsistency is the only consistent. And that's a problem because you're not holding anybody accountable. And here you have this 4th-round rookie whose family, his bloodline is the NFL, who is the beacon of light in regards to Ryan Pace's route running. But he's a great route runner. He's got great hands, and he challenged the coach. Now, we've got word of this through a few sources that Ridley challenged the coaching staff in what they were teaching, and thus that gave him a black eye, so to speak, in regards to where he was in the rotation. So that's why I go back to Deion Sanders to give some context here, because a player that challenges me as a head coach, I'm going to handle it right in their face together in front of the team, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to punish that player if he's going to help us win games, or I have to look in the mirror and see if what that player's saying has some validity. And looking at this offense, looking at what they're doing conceptually, he probably hurt Nagy's feelings, and the reality was he was right. So if I see him on the inactive sheet every Sunday, Shawn, true story, our boy Shane sends me the inactives, and every Sunday I look, is Ridley on it? That's the first thing I want to see, because I'm dying to see this kid, because I know if given the opportunity, he's going to be the thing that shuts somebody up. I played with a guy at Hofstra named Wayne Corbett.
Mm-hmm.
He went and tried out for the Jets. Me and my teammates are out there watching him because I was younger, but obviously he graduated, so now he's trying out for the Jets. He's going against the great cornerback, Aaron Glenn. Remember him?
Number 31.
Yep. And Aaron Glenn would lock people down. Well, here's this freaking little punk from Jersey, a Hofstra receiver going up against Aaron Glenn. Everyone's laughing. Keyshawn's over there running his mouth, and he's beating him, and he's beating him, and he's beating him. Now, say what you want about Rich Kotite and company. They saw this, and they put the politics aside. We're like, we can't overlook what's happening on the practice field, and we put it into the game. Let's give this young kid a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is history. How many Pro Bowls, all pros? How many of that? So the reality is, in a parking lot, you're going to hear a horn beep. But on the football field, when you see someone running routes and beating people, same thing with our boy, a New York Giant, Victor Cruz, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you got to put the players in position to help you make plays. And Ridley is one of those guys that I feel like it's shameful and disgraceful that he hasn't been given the opportunity yet, and that it'll only come from something like a suspension that was just completely selfish on Javon Wims. The long answer.
Yeah, I can't believe you. That was definitely selfish. Guys, we're joined by the draft doctor, Phil Toshin, talking a little from the Tape Never Lies Network, talking a little Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago. It's about time we see Lamar Miller. This guy is they kept saying, oh, he's getting close. He's getting close. Well, damn, how we don't have another running back. I'm tired of the Cordell Patterson experiment. One, because you don't block it. Okay, that's for starters. At least give me a guy who has running back instincts when you don't block. Okay, at least you can make something out of nothing like David Montgomery does. And Lamar Miller is more of a scat back who can make people and get positive yards. Do you think he's going to be dressed? And if so, could he make an impact on Sunday?
Well, they keep chatting about him coming off this injury. So is he ready yet? That's going to be their scapegoat. But the reality is, you're right in regards to that. I don't care if it's a Pierce from Oregon State. You need to get a running back in there with experience in running these outside zone, inside zone, all of this RPO. All of your run game should be handled by somebody who has experience in that kind of philosophy in riding a bike. And what I mean by that, it's old hat for them to take the handoff, to read the guards and the center's block. And this is not where this Cordarrelle Patterson is comfortable. He is a utility guy, a gadget player where you isolate him on something like you saw him against Tampa. They used him in the backfield with David Montgomery, and you could run him on a flare route. You run him on the wide, and you run him in a Texas route where you isolate him on a matchup, and that's where he's successful. He's not a running back. The fact of the matter is this guy's so stubborn. He's given Cordarrelle Patterson 4th down and 1 carries.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it against the percentages of the real running back on your roster, who's gotten you first downs on 70% of his 3rd and 1 carries, 3rd and 2. He's gotten you first. How do you go away against the percent? I'm not a big stats guy. You know that. But the reality is they're useful in mathematical situational football. So even in the mind-boggling displays that I see on Sundays by this coach, he's got a running back coach. Is he not speaking? Is this a dictatorship where Nagy's just doing whatever the heck Nagy does, and it costs you every week? I don't care. The reality is, look at this. Look at the story. Look at it from the perspective of wins and losses is not the right way to look at things. Look at the story within the game. How many times did the defense help you win? How many times have they been put in a bad situation and saved you? These are the things, the real things that I see each and every week, and break it down like nobody else on the Tape Never Lies Network, as well as our new and our boy there, Ivan, number 420 on our patronage program, and deep analysis. 420 fits Ivan perfectly, I think. Yeah, they got to get a running back up there that offsets David Montgomery. If Lamar Miller is ready, Shawn, and I've given you a long answer again to a short question, then he's got to be up there. He's got, and you could rotate and use him in the manner with which needs to be done. I hope this guy understands that with all of these replacements now, Fetty coming back, that's going to be helpful to you. But you're going to have a new center. And it's possibly, Olin brought it up, that it's possibly going to be Alex Bars at center. I thought that was a key nugget. So Alex will be at center because Mustafa's out. So then who's going to be the left guard? Because the right tackle now is where Coward should be. He should be there. That's his best position. So maybe they're going to get this right by God's hand. You know what I'm saying?
Process of elimination. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. This has happened for years. It's not like it's the first time. I've seen this happen for years, even with Lovie Smith here, in using his personnel on the offensive line the appropriate way, and then they finally get it weeks later. But I've never seen it like this. So the left guard position, that's going to be the interesting how they handle that. It's probably going to be their rookie that they took in the 7th round, Hambright, playing that left guard. So it'll be interesting to see how Lamar Miller, if they bring him up, or is it going to be the same old with the same old excuses, and Cordarrelle Patterson is just in these situations. It reminds me back in the day when, real quick, when Lovey, and we brought this up with Olin, and Shane actually brought it up, where I know as a coach, you need rhythm, especially for your players. Like David Montgomery needs to get the ball. He gets in a rhythm. Your offensive line needs the rhythm. They got to get into it. Get under center with Nick Foles. It's got to happen. Get out of the goddamn shotgun so much. You got backup linemen. Hit these plays quick. Make it easier for your offensive linemen. And then you're going to see a different kind of offense. If he could do those types of things and really stay away from my original point of, we got a rotation. We got a rotation. So we're going to take Thomas Jones out, and we're going to put Cedric Benson in every 3rd series. You're not feeling a rhythm there. You got to see, this ain't Thomas's day. Said, get in there. Like, that's what a head coach does. And he doesn't do it. He just go, all right, Cora, here's 8 yards for David Montgomery. Get him out. Next play.
Get him out.
That's when the time is right. Go, huddle, no huddle. Run it again. Let him stop you.
Phil, that's a good point. And my question before we go ahead and start showing some clips.
All right.
Do you think that, and we've seen it time and time again where Matt Nagy kind of he gravitates to a certain player. Does he pick up? Is there a clickiness to how he interacts with the players? Like, are there Matt Nagy's guys, and then there's the rest of the team?
That's a great point, and nobody talks about it. We were talking about that. When a coach starts to pick favorites to alleviate the talent that's out there, then there's a real issue. You can't talk about it during the week. For example, like Cole Kmet. We got to get him involved. What do you mean we got to get him involved? You're the play caller. You're the head coach. So you have it in your understanding and your playbook, your scripted plays. Get him involved. It is a problem with this coach. He has his favorites. I can see it time and time again. You know, there's a part of you as a human being that you're pulling for a certain player, a good person working hard. But at the end of the day, what they do on Sundays is the equation to continue to play that person on the next Sunday or Monday or whatever the game day is. Because, listen, some players stink in practice. Some players are practice players, and when the game starts, they're awful. It's up to you as the head coach to find that. You have to, Ivan, alleviate that clickiness. And to be perfectly honest, I think Coach Nagy is exactly that. He's a player's coach and finds these guys he likes, and he's going to roll with them. And that's really the opposite of what you should do.
Yeah, and then we're going to go ahead and roll into some film. The first play, I think it was the first couple plays of the series, you're going to see a complete pass to Anthony Miller, I believe, and then you're going to go ahead and see a miss by Jimmy Graham on a run to David Montgomery.
The matchup pre-snap, they ran a guy in motion, recognized blitz is coming. Look at Nick quickly get to that step and deliver the ball on time accurately to Anthony Miller. Now I want you to watch Jimmy Graham here. You're blocking down. You got to get 56. So the the center that's pulling, and the guard can block their guys, and you could be cooking with something here. But instead, you're standing there, you're looking, people are missing, Affetti misses his block, and it becomes a whole cluster of confusion,
Spriggs on the ground,
and just piss poor fundamentals of football.
Yeah,
you know, you watch that, and it blows your mind. You know, it blows your mind as a I know you're a former O-line coach, and me being a running back, I've sat with O-lines in years, and you see the tight ends were in there with us, and you block down to the backer, and then you saw Jimmy Graham turn and look like, oh damn, that was my guy. And then now, because you didn't get your guy, now the guy coming around has to pick up your guy. And then there's another, you know what I mean? So once one person screws up, now people have to compensate and do your job for you. And then someone has to do their job for them and their job for them. And it's just never going to be good enough, because there'll be one extra guy left over.
Oh, it happens all the time with this team. For 3 years that he's been there, this is a moment, Shawn, that and I know, Ivan, I don't know did you play football, buddy?
Oh, I played football, yes.
So that moment when you put your hand in the dirt, you're looking up, and you know what the defense is lined up, so you know your responsibility based on the play call. And it's in your heart to give everything you got for the next man. And when I watch this team, they can talk all they want about the BU culture. This guy's got a great handle on the locker room. Well, I've seen coaches that have a great handle on the locker room, and they're allowing their boys to go out and party the night before. I see coaches that don't have a great handle on the locker room and have a great handle on game day when it actually does matter, where the fundamentals of football matter and you hold them all accountable. Jimmy Graham's display there is over and over him, the next guy, Leno, the center, the guard. And Olin actually made a great point. He's like, Leno is trying to compensate for the next guy, and he's not good enough. So just do your job. Just do your job. And that's exactly what nobody's doing, just their job. And to watch it on the tape over and over, and if you haven't seen it, you can go over to our YouTube channel. The Tape Never Lies. Just punch it into YouTube. It'll pop right up. And you can go into Draft Dr. Phil's series, and you'll see every week, Shawn, every play, there is somebody with a breakdown. The coach said it himself, finally, last week, before that game. You know, it's frustrating. It's just, we're right there. But everybody, he didn't want to call anybody's name out. He didn't want to, well, that's the problem. Call him out. Put him on Front Street so it doesn't happen anymore because you've tried everything. You've let him dance. You let him fight. You missed field goals. You lived to fight another day. You switched your young quarterback to your guy. You've done it all. Now the proof is in the pudding, and it's not good. So Jimmy Graham there, selfish. Missed assignments on them. And the poor guy that gets the brunt of it, to me, is the quarterback and the running back there and David Montgomery, because I really think he's something special and people can't see it because it's like trying to paint a picture in colors and all they give you is white and black. It's like, you can't do it.
Phil, somebody posted something about Bucky Brooks saying that David Montgomery had to do more. And I pretty much told him to go shut the fuck up. Because David Montgomery's being like hit 4 or 5. He's getting hit as soon as he gets the ball in the backfield. Some of the defenders can take the ball, literally, can damn near take the ball away from whoever the hell's the quarterback. It's unfathomable how you could hate on a guy like David Montgomery when all he does is give you everything he has.
Yeah, to Bucky Brooks, there's a reason why he lost his job. Let's be honest here. I'll just keep it a buck with you guys on your show. I know some stories about Bucky Brooks. Now he's got this position here. That's the laziest analysis you can ever give. And it's unfortunate because that happens to young players. He's got to do more. Well, no, Ivan, you're 100% right. The tape never lies. He's getting hit. They're missing their assignments. I put up a play there, and I'm like, Shawn, this reminds me of my days trying to hustle for the train at Hofstra in a packed subway. My train is about to leave, and everybody's in my way, and I'm juking through a crowd of 500. It's that bad. And he's still making things happen. That's why the perceptive eye understands that there is an offense. I mean, Louis Riddick is saying the opposite. Troy Aikman on the broadcast, he's saying the opposite of Bucky Brooks. Because Bucky Brooks has a bone to grind because he didn't get a position with the Bears. Bucky Brooks is just being lazy there. That's not it. I could tell you right now, I'll put my whole reputation on David Montgomery's talent. Like it is something to be recognized. This isn't the old days where people are like, oh, Barry Sanders had nobody. Well, he had Lomas Brown, who's a Hall of Famer, and he had a bunch of other good offensive linemen there. And Barry Sanders was one of the greatest, probably the second best back ever. David Montgomery has nothing on the offensive line. Nothing. So out of one mouth, you can't say, Bucky, that this offensive line and this coach are terrible. But David's got to do more. David is already battling Goliath in my mind. That should be the name of my next Tape Never Lies series. I'm going to do the David Montgomery right here. It's coming in my head. David versus Goliath. And it's not the opponent. It's his own coach and offensive line.
That's what he's got to fight every freaking game. Guys, we're joined by the draft doctor himself, Phil Toshin. Talking little Chicago Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago. So this defense, This defense needs to step up big time. They have a yeoman's effort needed to stop this man-child of a running back. How do you think they do it? You know, Derrick Henry is throwing people across the field, throwing people out of bounds. But they are on a 2-game losing streak, just like the Bears.
Right.
What are they going to have to do to keep him under wraps?
Listen, real quick. When this kid was coming out of Bama, I said he's the number 1 back in the draft without a doubt. I had Matt Miller, the fraud boy, tell me he's a fullback, and he's not an NFL back. I just want to give you that prerequisite here as you talk about this kid. Everything I thought he'd be, he is. And God doesn't make athletes like this in my mind. He's on another worldly scale. So how do you do that? In the question of that you have to fly to the football. You have to gang tackle. You have to be the most fired up and intense. Chuck Pagano has to preach it. We will allow these other guys to try to beat us. We will not let him beat us. So that means Eddie Jackson, you got to be at your most physical and be aware. Kyle Fuller, you have to be at your most physical. You went against an animal on Sunday in Kamara, and you made a few mistakes setting the edge, and it really was Gibson not being in the right position to set the edge to help you guys win. But now you got a different animal because he's fast and physical. So you got to gang tackle, and you got to be motivated to do it. And the coach really needs to sacrifice some of his sitting back kind of attitude, and we're going to beat you like that and try to chip away. You got to be aggressive in your run blitzes and tackling. And I really think the Bears have a really good opportunity to do that with number 58 playing the way he is. Now, he's got to be consistent in his tackling. He's going to be huge in this because of the way he's been playing lately. He was phenomenal against the Saints on tape.
Yeah.
And Danny T had his best game against the Saints.
Yes, he did.
So hopefully they can continue moving that forward. And really, those guys are going to be imperative to this victory. And fabric players like John Jenkins and Brett Urban, who have really done it. What's his name? 97. Why is he? Jesus Christ, from Florida State. Former Raider. Mario Edwards.
Mario Edwards Jr.
Edwards. Underrated guys. Those guys are going to have to rise to the occasion of the Akeem Hicks and company because, let's face it, Khalil Mack is the best player on the field every time he goes out there. So that level of intensity and motor is going to be the remedy to stop this guy. They all have to play full speed every play going after Derrick Henry, and let this quarterback try to beat you. Man up, tackle Henry, and go after it and sacrifice everything to stop him and force this quarterback to beat you, which I don't think he can.
You know what? I think the Bears defense can do very well. I don't know if you had a question, Sean. I was going to go into the next clip.
Yeah, no. One of the things that they need to do, and outside, especially with a guy like that, because he's not explosive. By explosive, I mean get the top speed in 3 steps.
Right.
It takes him a couple. Don't get me wrong. He can outrun you.
Oh.
He can still outrun you, but he doesn't get the top speed like Devin Hester would in 3 steps. Right. So what you need to do with a guy like this is you need to stop. You need to slow his feet down. So you need to slow his feet down. So you talked about setting the edge. If you set the edge, all right, that's the one thing. And I'm speaking from a running back perspective. Running backs hate to have their feet stopped.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Hate to have their feet stopped. And so because now once the ball's snapped, you're moving. You're going back and forth and back. And
exactly.
Once you have to slow down and then have to rev it back up, now that's where the pursuit comes. That's where the cavalry comes in. And you usually don't have a lot of positive yards after that.
You got to watch.
They got to keep gap integrity. They have to set the edge. and there can't be any open gaps. There just can't be. You can't have two guys in one gap and get blocked by one guy, because he doesn't need much space. Because if he's got a little space, he'll bust it through, and then this dude is off to the races. Like, I wonder if he
forward for like 8 yards.
I wonder if he ran track at Alabama, because this dude is the way as fast as this dude is. Yeah. Like he's like he's like 240, and
my God,
he's out running DBs.
Yeah, he's like Eric Dickerson. He runs high, and Dickerson was like that, and it took him 5 yards to get to full speed. So in your point, setting that edge, look, I want to watch. Is Pagano smart enough to do like last week? It was the week before. I was like, Pagano needs against the Rams to move Roy Robertson Harris out to end, get Waters out of there, and Mingo, because they can't set the edge like that man can. So let's see if Pagano uses that 5-man front and uses Roy Robertson Harris on that edge to set it, to force this guy backwards and to stop his feet, like you're saying. That would be my plan. He would be out. Waters and Mingo would be used on 3rd downs only. They would not be out on that football. I don't give a shit how tired you are. Get your water break when we're playing offense and be ready, because we're playing 60 minutes of football today. That would be my message to the team. Not this, let's sub him out after 3 plays. Let's sub him out. Keep your best on the field and be ready, because we need this game. We need to win this game. You got to keep pace with these guys up north. You got it.
We do.
I feel like both of you guys are absolutely right. And if the defense is going to have to step up once again, step up once again. And I think they could do that job. I mean, they've done it all year long. They've been holding teams to at least winnable, at least manageable situations for the Bears offense, but they can't manage shit, it seems like. It's just like, to me, if the defense does this again, if they show up again like we expect them to, the self-sabotage that Matt Nagy inflicts upon this team. And this next clip is evident, because I believe this was right after David Montgomery's 38-yard run. Oh. You went on first down and you run this. I just feel like Matt Nagy in critical situations, when you got guys on the ropes, why don't you have a killer mentality? Why don't you have a put them out now mentality? It's like you get to that point and then you want to finesse them into a victory. You want to finesse a victory. You don't want to go ahead and take total control and take a grasp on the whole thing. You want to finesse to a victory. So this next one it pissed me off a whole hell of a lot, and I'm sure it pissed you off too, Phil.
It's like it's boxer. When you hit him, you stun him with a big left,
and
then you go to the body. He's like, wait a minute, the dude, he's on rubber leg street, and now you want to go to the body? No, go to the head, because he's going for the kill and finish him, and that's a big issue with him, is he doesn't have that killer instinct. And again, that his arrogance, and you know what's funny though, like you would think that geniuses like that would want to impose their will on you. You know what I mean? And say at some point, my guys are better than your guys.
He's not a genius.
And
that's the false narrative.
Him is like, okay, I'll trick you.
Exactly.
Because I'm the smartest guy in the room.
Exactly.
Here's the clip.
Low tackle. So what does this offensive genius do inside the 15 on a first down after the play? They're going to fake a jet sweep, and they're going to pitch it to Anthony Miller, and sure, why not? Let's try to do some trickery and gimmickry when you can't even block this correctly. Now, you have a play. If Komet, I don't know what this technique is, gets the next man, he doesn't even see him outside. He's blind to him and allows him to be there, and the play's stuffed. Just take this crap out of your playbook.
Unbelievable.
Cole Komet, I know you're a rookie. Still unacceptable. You don't let a guy cross your face. He's on your outside shoulder, and then you let him cross your face. You get up, you hit that inside shoulder, and you stay there because that play has a legitimate chance. If he gets in, if he gets inside position on that end, and Anthony Miller can cut up inside there, we're talking a good 3 to 5, and I'll take that. I'm having to skirt and hop back and avoid another tackler. Next thing you know, now it's a -2 yard gain. So it's there it is. Always one person screwing it up. This time it was the rookie tight end, Cole Kmet, and he's got to be held to the fire. His feet got to be held to the fire as well. And you're an All-American tight end. You know exactly what the hell you're doing. This is not your first rodeo.
Well,
I know it's the NFL. Go ahead.
It makes you question. I mean, the way it looks, Shawn, is that it's almost like screen rule, where you got to engage and then you let him go because he's going to be tricked. So now, I engaged, he beat me across my face. I'm going to let him go because Anthony's going to be around him. But the third rule here is that you have to look outside to see who's out there. So say he lets him go, right? And he sees the corner sitting there and he just gets in the way. You got a touchdown on your hands. Or, like you said, 6 yards. Everything about Nagy's situational play calling, like, if you can't do the little things in your offense right, why are you doing the gimmicks? Until you get those right and know who to block and actually put it on tape as a coach, just imagine, like, you're trying to run outside zone and you have no success at doing it. So you go to inside zone or that trap play where they bring the wing back all the time. And you can't get that right. So then you're like, oh, well, screw it. Let's run jet sweep, toss, reverse. You're going to look. It's like, how? Like, you can't even do these right. Now you're extending your playbook out to gimmicks. That's a problem. Like, you run that kind of play when you're really good at everything else. Then you could run that kind of stuff. That play in above itself shows me not only are you wasting a down in the red zone, but you're also wasting time as a head coach or a play caller because you can't even do the foundation. You haven't found your identity in 3 years. And that's unfortunate. And we'll see it again this Sunday. Don't worry. Bubble screen will come out. And so will the reverse taw and
you're gonna have me yelling at the top of my lungs.
Oh my God!
Bubble screen.
Everybody thinks of me when they run these plays. I get like 500 DMs. I know you're pissed right now, and I'm like, yes. I don't even have time to answer everyone because I can't even believe that this it's like you don't learn like you're supposed to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Because he's so arrogant. That's the issue. Hey, Phil, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it, man. Love you too, brother. Great stuff.
We'll see you. Bears Hour Live right after the game this Sunday. Join us, guys. I hope you get in there. Shawn, we got to bring you on again when you're feeling better, man. I worry about you. Take it easy.
I am. I will. So
Ivan, appreciate you, brother.
Take it easy, Phil. Thanks for coming.
Bears.
Bear down, baby. Bear the freak down. Guys, that was a draft Dr. Phil Atoshin. And I just love having him on, man. I just love talking football with him. It's just good stuff. Man, 3 hours has come and gone. Unbelievable.
Whew. It was a long one. I'm glad you made it. You say, like, you really – I didn't want to say nothing, but you really trooped it out.
I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer. You got to do what you got to do.
A champion. Feel like a champion today. That's what you did.
Hey, you know what? I had cracked ribs in the championship game that if we lose that game, we don't go down to Florida. And I'm like, no. We're not putting that running back in, the backup in. I'm carrying the rock. Mm-hmm. Even though I couldn't breathe. Yeah. I went in, I had the last 3 carries. And let me tell you, if you've ever had cracked ribs, don't. Don't. Yeah, you talk about that's as heavy, as deep as I could breathe. Yeah. Anything deeper than that, man, that pain ain't nothing nice. That's the kind of pain I'd wish on my worst enemy. Yeah. when you can't do it's comfortable. But you know what? I was able to deal with it. That's how we grew up. You know what? It's you tell how rocky the ocean is. Just bring the ship in, and not a lot of these people. I'm sick. I got a hangnail. I can't. No, we got to get it done. Ish needs to get done, and it's done. And hopefully this weekend I'll heal up pretty good, and I should be back Monday, back at 100%. So, but I want to thank my guest Joseph Phillips calling in, for coming on and sitting with us for the first hour. I want to thank Kenneth Davis for taking from 10 to 11 o'clock hour. I want to thank our guest, the draft doctor himself, Phillips, for coming on as always on Friday. Great stuff. We appreciate it. I want to thank my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas. I want to thank our associate producer, Elliot Baez. I want to thank the guy, Clarence Council III. And guys, you guys made it a great show. And it's 70 degrees. I'm probably going to go end up taking a walk for a little bit just to enjoy this fresh air. What is it now? It's 6 plus right about now, or almost. I got 72 degrees. So I'm probably going to go take a walk real quick. And yeah, sounds good. So for my co-host in absentia, Maya Kai, and my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas.
And be sure to check out at 10:30 on Sunday the Barely pregame show, and then right after that at 11:10, it's me and Luke Nettles on the Basement Monsters podcast. Throughout the day, we'll be covering 3 games because we got the Bears at noon, and then we'll cover a middle game, an afternoon game, and then we'll be covering the night game, which is going to be the Bucks and the Saints. So don't forget that. Tune in 11:30 or 10:30 and 11.
10:30 Central.
10:30 Central. 11 Central.
Yeah, the that Bucks Saints game is going to be nice. It was saying that Drew Brees might have a shoulder issue.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I felt like there was a couple passes in that Bears game where I was like, damn, Drew, like one just went, there was a couple ducks that just dove right into the ground, and there was a couple balls that were just like, oh, where was that one going? You know, maybe it's a lingering issue.
Yeah. Say he wasn't working out at practice. He was off to the side, and he wasn't even in shoulder pads. Yesterday, this was I forgot who the report was from, but it said he wasn't in shoulder pads. So we'll see. But because they're going back and forth between him and Brady with the most career touchdown passes. More to take. Remember, Brees just took the lead by 1. And then Tom threw a couple touchdown passes. Now he took the lead by 1. So I think this is going to be great. Back and forth for the all-time most touchdown passes. The record for most touchdown passes. It's awesome. That is a continuing. It's an ongoing record. So, but all right, man, we got to get out of here, and we appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you download the app. Wherever you get your apps from, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you like us on Facebook, like us across all social media platforms. So until then, Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas.
We'll see y'all later.
I'm your boy, the Superback, Sean Sierra. We out.